me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sigil Spotlight. I am Eugene Marshall of Arcanist Press and Sigil Entertainment. We are a diverse community of tabletop industry creators spotlighting each other's work. Each week, we feature games, characters, creations, art, and more from one or more of us here at the table. And today, we are going to be featuring Curse of the Mariner's Heart, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure written by our own Jessica Marcrum and featured in the Midwinter Ghost Stories anthology, available on the DM's Guild now. We are also featuring Ismael Alvarez's Apothecary class. I believe we'll see the Forensic Apothecary today. And that character class is featured in 5th edition Horror, an anthology and collection of fantastic stuff available on DriveThruRPG. We may also see, depending on what the players choose, some mechanics from VJ Harris's Restless supplement, also available on the DM's Guild. So that is the schedule for today. But before we begin, I'd like to thank Sigil Entertainment for supporting the stream and providing our overlays, Roll20 for providing us this virtual tabletop we'll be using, Wizards of the Coast for making tonight's fun possible as well. And to make sure it stays fun, we are employing safety tools, so thanks to Bree Bo Sheldon, Lauren Bryant Monk, Kiana Shaw, and Monty Cook Games for providing the tools we've been using. See the show notes below the Twitch channel for more information, both on the safety tools and our creators' great titles. They're all linked below. All right, so what I'd like to do first is begin by having all the players introduce themselves and say a little bit about what they do in the world of tabletop gaming. I am just going to go around as I see them in the little video chat, which means directly below me is Jessica.
Well, that's me.
Yes.
Hi, I wrote this adventure. I write games and supplements, and you can see me in the chat here as Angry Nerd Girl. And most recently, I wrote a game this week called Dumpster Fire, and you can play as a rat, an opossum, a raccoon, or a trashy novel. So check that out on my Twitter or on my website, Jessica Marcrum Writes.
That's fantastic. I was going to say, is that about this year? Because that sounds very timely. All right.
Yeah.
And to the next Jess is Felipe. Felipe, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Felipe Real. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm a Chilean, mostly fantasy writer, editor, and translator. On January, I published my first short story in English in Tales of Good Dogs for Onyx Path Publishing Spugmire setting. And regarding tabletop role-playing games, I've published 3 little books, including The Way of the Pacona, which won the Best Setting Award at the Indie Groundbreaker Awards 2019. I've also participated in various books for 7th 2nd edition, as well as AMP Year 4 and the Book of Rooms for Bluebeard's Bride. So that's it about me.
Fantastic. And by the way, my pronouns are he and they. And let's go next to Vic, below Jessica there.
Hi. Hey, Vic here. I go by VJ Harris in like a professional capacity on the DM's Guild. I have been in I published my first product at the end of March. I am currently working on a collab for some islands for people to play around in when Theros drops. And pretty much I'm just kind of new to the industry and just wanting to get to know people. And yeah, hi everybody.
Fantastic. Hello, Vic. And let's see. Next to Vic is Ish. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ish, also known as Ismael, last name Alvarez. I use he, him pronouns. And I do quite a bit of writing for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I have a couple of products on the DM's Guild known as the Aurora's Whole Realm catalogs, I think like summer and fall and a couple of others. But also I do a lot of writing for Fat Goblin Games. And in addition to all of that, I also am the social media manager for the Tome Show.
Fantastic. Welcome, Ish. Let's see. Below Vic, we've got Connor. How are you, Connor?
I'm doing well. How are you, Eugene?
Oh, thanks. I'm doing great, actually.
Sorry, bad habit. I'm Connor. My pronouns are he, him. I am by day a mental health professional, but I enjoy creating awesome things for people to play and great experiences for people to enjoy. You've probably seen me if you've attended many of the conventions in the Midwestern United States, helping to create and administrate Dungeons and Dragons experiences. I also have written for numerous conventions, including Gamehole Con and Spring Dreaming Con. I helped create D8 Summit Charities. We raise money for quality local charities. We partner with events that are looking to add that fundraising component. So if you're looking to add that, feel free to hit me up. I'd be happy to help you out. I have a number of things on the DM's Guild. Feel free to check them out, and more coming all the time as quick as Wizards can approve them.
Fantastic. I look forward to those. Maybe we'll get to feature some of them here. All right. So brief note, we will have some social media addresses appearing in the Twitch chat shortly. We've got a moderator hard at work on it right now, in fact. So what I'd like to do now, if everyone is ready, is introduce today's adventure and move us over there to that. Let's go ahead and transition.
Did I get skipped?
Did you? Oh my goodness, Gilbert! I thought
Gilbert, yeah.
See, this is one of the frustrating things on my Zoom window. You're way up at the top, but I now look over and you're down at the bottom on the overlay. Okay, Gilbert. Well, you know what? We were saving the best for last.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm Gilbert S. I'm a new designer. I'm mostly in the indie RPG, or entirely in the indie RPG space. I'm just happy to be here. Been theater background, poetry slam background, and now I'm in gaming, so I thought this would just be a fun new challenge to be part of.
I look forward to seeing it today, and we might get to feature some of your work in some near future streams as well. If we can figure out how to have a 10 Candles game on live Twitch, that'd be kind of fun. All right, so let's see. Are we ready to transition here? I think we're ready to go to the Roll20 tabletop, and here we are. All right, let me get you on our splash page. We don't want to be here just yet. All right, so all of you should see the Sigil splash page, not what I'm seeing. This is something I have to decide how to figure out, is because if I'm streaming the GM's screen, the people at home get to see what you guys don't. Ha ha ha. All right, so today's adventure is called Curse of the Mariner's Heart, and we begin with introducing our characters for the day. So we're going to go around the table once more. This time we've got the overlay with your characters' names and race and class. So feel free to just say a word or two about what your character might look like. And for those of you who have art, I will show it when you're talking about your character. And then just a little bit about what your background might be, because some of you have some interesting backgrounds. Once again from the top, Jessica.
Yar, I be Scarlett O'Bonney, former captain of the Bloody Whale and current paladin of the Path of Redemption, because my missus likes the faith. I have red hair and I carry a big sword.
Yes. All right, let's get some character art up there. There you go. Fantastic. So there's Scarlett O'Bonney wearing her armor and her weapon. Felipe, how about you tell us a little bit about your character?
Today I'm Esther Barnett. I'm a little halfling. I used to work the crew with my captain Scarlett, and we committed a terrible deed in the past, and I'm still repenting, atoning for it. I walk around the world I believe in people and try to help them, and I believe that everybody can do good. If they can, why can't I?
Fantastic. All right, let's hear then from Vic.
I am playing Dresden Tarler. I am a deeply religious fellow who will go on a tangent if you let me, and I'm here to rid the world of great evil and save as many souls as possible.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing if you're successful. We'll see. All right, Ish.
Yes, my character is Anthemina Dior. She is a no-nonsense private detective who was born to like a lower-class family, and she prizes logic over almost everything else, but she also has a kind streak that she doesn't like to let show very often.
See if we can't get Anthony. There she is. All right, and then let's go ahead and hear from Connor.
So today I'm going to be taking the personality of Sildaris, a newsie on the streets of Victorian England who spends most of the day barking his wares. You can get a paper for a tuppence, 5 tuppence for the deluxe, but harbors a little bit of a secret. You also get to hear my my terrible voice acting and enjoy my amazingly terrible cosplay the whole time, every week.
Well, I look forward to it. Let's hear, last but not least, from Gilbert, hearing about Sildar.
My character's name is Sildar. He just kind of goes along with the flow of things. Especially loves sandwiches. If you give him a sandwich, there's a good chance to just go along with whatever you're asking him to do. He's got a really mixed background. He's kind of done everything because people just sort of ask him to, because he's a really big dude. So I've been around. Yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right. So give me one moment to fix something that is in the wrong place, and then we can continue. Just a moment. So tonight's setting, how about, Jessica, while we're waiting for me to correct something, you tell us just a little bit about the setting we're playing in today.
Okay.
Gothic Earth.
Yeah, we're playing in the Gothic Earth setting, and my producer for this adventure is in the chat. So if I mess it up, I'm sure Dread Pirate Halfling will correct me. It's basically Victorian England, but there's something very wrong. It's Victorian England by way of Ravenloft, and there's kind of a dread red mist that sucks the magic out of the world. Spells take longer to cast. Most creatures are human, and there's sort of a pervasive loneliness and bleakness about the Gothic Earth. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
All right, excellent. So your adventure is now about to begin. You are all know each other, work together in various capacities. Maybe you are mercenaries for hire. Maybe you are out to make the world a better place and improve yourself. When you receive a letter. So this letter, to put it briefly, is from a woman named Calpurnia Lovelace, and she's asking to hire you. So I'm going to go ahead and read this letter to you now. I will also make it available to you to read, to check out later in case you want to consult it. She writes, "Dear adventurers, thank you profusely for agreeing to spend the night of the solstice in my family's seaside estate. I cannot express to you what a bore it has been to spend every holiday away from the seaside just because of Daddy's fear of hauntings. Now that he has passed on, I look forward to returning to our ancestral home and putting all this Inamorata nonsense to rest. I suppose you'll want some backstory on the Inamorata. Well, Great Granny Anesthesia was engaged to some common woman, Viola Ravenswood, who went sailing for 5 years and then didn't marry her when she came back. Apparently, we're supposed to feel bad and apologize and have every holiday spoiled because of some century-old romantic silliness. It's honestly ridiculous, but the rest of the family insists the house be cleansed before we can return to normal solstice celebrations. Please, help yourself to whatever you'd like to eat, though I doubt there's much there. Cook is quite good about packing away the perishables when we lock the place up. Don't want any rats, or worse, the poor, getting in. In any case, help yourself to a nibble. Downstairs in the cellar, there's a trunk that should be rather useful to you. It's under some blankets behind the stairs, but that's where our dear old caretaker, Ferdinand, kept most of his tools. I've also had him place the family sword down there. Apparently, anesthesia used to carry it around. Father always said it made him feel safer when ghosts were about. Too bad it didn't keep him from drowning in the bathtub, but that's neither here nor there, is it? Anyway, do not lose that sword. It is my family's heirloom, and I want to pass it on to my children. Just because you may find it useful doesn't mean you get to keep it. Do you understand? I do hope you survive the night, my dears. If there's anything I can do for you, well, I suppose it's too late now. Apparently the ship docks at midnight, so plan on being ready by then. Good luck. I'll send someone by in the morning to deliver your payment or collect your bodies. And with that, you know that your adventure is to take control of this house at which you have just arrived. So you are now, are about to, I should say, find yourself at the outside of this house. Let me get you all placed nicely. There is a picture of Viola Ravenswood. And it is about 11 a.m. or p.m. So you have about an hour before midnight strikes. And there you are. You have just stepped into the entrance hall of the manor. There are portraits of the Lovelace family that line the walls. There's a large grandfather clock just tolling 11 as you enter. There's a large staircase here as well, leading to the second floor. You have an hour until this alleged haunting. What would you like to do? There are doors to your left and right, a stair heading up. Let's hear from each person. How about this? Before we begin, you've arrived in this gothic haunted mansion. How do you feel about that? Let's hear from, I don't know. Let's hear from Sildaris. Have you ever been in a haunted mansion? Is this something new for you? Yep. Don't forget to unmute.
No, I can't say I've ever been in a haunted house before. This is pretty unusual. I look around trying to read the faces of everybody else around me and see if they are ill at ease or having a difficult time.
Well, are they? Let's say, let's check with Dustrin. How's Dustrin feeling about this situation?
He has pulled out his holy book at this point, and it's just not like clutching it in like fear, but in like a confident, I've done this before. We'll be fine. We'll rid this place of evil. That kind of, for anybody that that kind of look on his face, and it's just looking around like, this will be fine. We will be fine.
Has Scarlet ever encountered such things on the high seas in her days before?
Oh, well, she's definitely been in a home like this before, but I lost my voice for a minute. This looks like a decent place to rob if she were so inclined, though she's learned differently nowadays. The letter seemed a bit snooty to her taste, and she's not sure how she feels about this Inamorata ship. But she's here to do a job, so she's going to do her best.
Fair enough. And what about Soldar? Has Soldar had experiences with such things?
Soldar did not really understand the letter mostly, and is just along for the ride so he's standing there thinking everything is just normal about the house with a very blank look on his face.
So yes, solving the mystery might not be his forte. We'll have to find out. I have my suspicions. What about Esther?
Come on here, buddy. I offered Saldar a sandwich. Have a sandwich. Feel better for yourself. I'm just
Thank you.
I'm finishing cleaning up Big Trouble and Little Trouble. They are my guns. I'm finished cleaning them up and putting the bullets in there, and I look around looking for trouble. I can sense that I have this tingle that things are about to go wrong, but I'm ready for it.
All right, and then what about our forensic apothecary, Anthemina?
Anthemina has seen these things before. Usually they're hoaxes, sometimes they're actual ghosts. They're both about as stubborn. We'll drive them out before dawn. Of that I am confident.
All right. The clock, as you stand taking in the room, ticks. The bells have stopped chiming. It's now 1 minute after 11. You have some time to prepare or explore, should you like. The house is yours.
Anthemina will start looking for things like trapdoors or some way that, if it was a hoax, like, any kind of secret entrances or things that they could use to conduct a hoax.
All right. So are you staying in the entrance hall, or are you going to start exploring the other rooms?
I'll start exploring the other rooms, but I'll stay nearby.
Okay.
Like I'll methodically go through and explore the nearest room first.
So I guess, let's see. And the closest room to Anthemina is the bottom left room, which you can enter down there should you choose. Go ahead and feel free to move your tokens around the house as though you're exploring it yourself. On roll 20, that door there takes you into what seems to be a sitting room. And the sitting room, just like much of this place, is not empty, uninhabited it seems. It looks as though the area is, there's a study beyond in the next room as well. You can see through a kind of half-open door. And the room and the sitting room both smell kind of old and musty. The smell of old books, in fact, kind of emanates from the study. You see a roll-top desk as well. But go ahead and give me an investigation check, should you wish to take a look. See what you can find.
Oops, sorry, I rolled twice. 3 times. My mistake.
No problem.
We'll go with the first one.
All right.
11.
All right, so you find that there are a large leather desk chair with books piled atop it. You see that the rest of the bookcase seems to have journals detailing the tragic history of the Lovelace family. They seem to have had quite a few run-ins with, let's call it, bad luck, but otherwise nothing in particular. So Anthemina is exploring the sitting room and study beyond. There are other rooms to explore beyond that. There's an upstairs. There's as well. Let's go around and see what others folks would like to do. What would Esther be doing right now?
Let's see. Let's look around. Everything all right, Anthemina? And over the room over there?
Yes, everything fine for now. I'm just doing some investigating. I'm sure that somewhere in this sitting room there might be some clue as to the true nature of this so-called haunting.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It looks like a great place for an exorcism if it calls for it. Just push all of this against the wall and we'd be set. But
so I believe that Dustrin would know, because of their acolyte background, that to perform an exorcism does require some time and the drawing of a circle. Thanks, to your training in that regard. So that would be something that you might want to get to work on should you want to have it ready, say, by the time the clock rings midnight.
Yeah, I'm going to, Dustrin is going to did you say is there carpet? Is it carpeted? This?
No, I think that the study here and sitting room have an old hardwood floor.
Excellent. I look around and just say, I'm glad it's not carpet. I'd have to rip it up. But yes, and I'll start moving around things, pull out a piece of chalk that I imagine I have whatever the equivalent of a suitcase, like a briefcase is back in old Victorian times, that have my chalk and any other smaller items I might need for an exorcism. And I start moving the stuff around and just examine the floor for a minute to see where's the best place to start drawing the circle and then get to it.
All right. So it looks like to the rest of you, since none, let's see. So it's possible that Scarlet has some idea what's going on, given the paladin background. But the rest of you, this is perhaps Anthemina has some experience with this. It depends. I don't know what her experience is with the with religious rituals or the occult, but the rest of you are probably unsure what Durstron's up to. As you're watching them do this, begin to clear the floor and draw a detailed sigil of some or circle of some sort on the floor, you suddenly hear a slamming sound from the north. So beyond the study.
Anthemina, who by the way is a ledger domain in terms of kind of the more mystical arts, decides to go and investigate unless anyone else tries to get ahead of her.
No, I'll go that way as well. I'm sure this circle thing, you've got it well in hand.
Yeah, I follow her as well.
Yeah, Anthemina basically like bursts into the room at the soonest available possibility.
Come on, buddy. Come, Saldar.
Saldar's like, sure, where are we going?
So you
probably to hit something.
Also, I heard in the letter said something about a sword, and that sounds. Well, I'd like to see it, if nothing else.
So Anthemina enters the room. Esther is following. Saldar is kind of tagging along, I suppose. And you see that there is a window that is open and ajar, and the wind is just making it slam again and again.
That was in the study?
Yes, in the study.
Okay.
Which one of these is the window?
So these marks here represent doors. I'm sorry if it's not super duper clear.
No, I figured I did. I didn't want to go to like a door thinking it was.
Yeah, and then so this is the external wall. There.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and let's just say for now that all the doors are ajar enough. They don't need to be locked. None of them are locked on the interior. So that way it's a little easier to see where you're moving.
Anthemina would like to investigate for signs of forced entry in case someone came in through the window and are trying to make fools of us.
All right. So go ahead and give an investigation check.
Oh, there we go.
You notice, you examine the window. So what does it look like when Anthemina, because this is your jam, right? Forensic Apothecary, you're like a pro investigator. What does it look like when you're on the case?
Anthemina will take out like a small reusable swab and start kind of going over the sill itself. And she'll take the swab and put it into like a little vial with a stopper and set that away for later. But she's very meticulous, and she in fact has a magnifying glass. And she's investigating everything very thoroughly, to the point where she is in fact ignorant of everything else going on around her.
So Anthemina gets entirely absorbed in this investigation, and you discover several things. First, there's a thin layer of dust on the sill that seems not to have been disturbed. Second, the lock that seals the window seems to be loose and may very well have fallen open due to the wind rattling the windows. And third, you feel gusts occasionally blowing in through the window, and so you deduce, in fact, that the wind has loosened this window, and it is just the wind. It could be nothing more ominous than that, certainly.
What are you doing,
Anthemina will
messing around and close the window.
In due time. I was just getting to the conclusion that this was blown open by the wind and not some nefarious agent. So Anthemina will close the window and, if able to, lock it back up, and then turn around and announce it was just the wind.
Well, you'd think they'd have better insulation. Rich people like this.
The house is well appointed, but you can tell it also has seen several centuries.
I surmise that all this talk of hauntings probably keeps people from doing a more thorough job in maintaining this place. That is my guess.
Sildaris will turn his head at an odd angle, like he's listening to something. And he says, Did you hear that?
No.
What is it?
Or
No.
what?
No, I know you think, with your fancy science that nothing must be going on, but you didn't hear that?
If you're asking, I will tell you no, I did not. And I don't think that my science is telling me that nothing is happening, just that this window was merely a coincidence. I do believe something is going on, but we will get to the bottom of it in due time.
All right.
Sildaris will just sort of nod his head, face looking a little concerned, like, why didn't he hear that? But I'll go along with it.
What'd you hear, lad?
Yeah, where did it come from?
Well, no. In the old country, when you in Norway, when you hear things like that, sometimes nature tells you what's going on. Even if your science doesn't, the nature tells you what's going on.
Right at this moment, the wind howls through the trees outside.
Did you hear that?
The wind?
Yes.
Can you interpret it, Sildaris?
No, there are no words in my tongue to interpret it into.
Okay.
But it is a worrying message. It is, and Sildaris will pull out his trusty woodsman's axe. This tall, thin, lanky kid of Norwegian descent just pulls out his way too big axe and just holds it for comfort, looking around nervously.
That axe is a good idea, lad. I think we might want to chop up some furniture and barricade up this window if it's going to be banging around with the wind.
There is a very nice looking leather chair here. It looks like it's aged and well used. There's also a roll top desk sitting in the middle of the room surrounded by bookcases. So some good wood there.
Why would I want to hack it up? It looks perfectly lovely.
Well, if we're worried about things getting in the window with the wind that's talking to you and making some noises, it might be worth, shoving against the window so that it shuts up.
Sildaris looks around. Are there curtains?
Yes, they're like held back by, I don't know what those are called. Hooks, I guess. Sure.
So I'll walk up and I'll look back, and then for them to approve of this, I'm just going to release the curtains and pull them in front of the window.
All right. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, no. I should have known it. The curtains are mimics. All right. Dexterity saving throw and...
A 17. All right.
Nice.
You deftly step back as a spider descends from the now released curtain. It would have landed right on your face, but it makes it to the floor and just scurries away. It's just a normal house spider.
I'll look down and I'll say, "I'm sorry, little girl. I hope I didn't disturb you too much."
It doesn't respond.
It doesn't respond?
It does not.
And then I'll make sure that the windows are nice and pulled.
Yeah, they're dusty. The curtains are dusty, but they're heavy, so you pull them closed, and they at least will stop the draft, if not the window itself. So beyond, you can glimpse a drawing room of some sort and a large, well-appointed dining room. The dining room is to the northeast, the drawing room to the north.
I think I'll head to that drawing room.
Sildar heads to the dining room.
Right. Yes. So the drawing room and dining room are connected, you can see. All right.
What's in here?
So when you enter the drawing room, you see there are holiday decorations and candles filling this room. There are large...
Be their presence.
You can make an investigation check.
Heck yes. Let me bring up my sheet.
Anthamina is staying in the study. She has an odd feeling that she may have to decide which room to go into, but she's going to wait for the thing to happen to draw her into action.
Oh, I'm not good at investigating.
So you look around, and it seems
Let's see a present if it fell on my head.
everything looks expensive and breakable. There's lots of things made of glass here and some shiny stuff, but I don't know. I mean, the whole house looks kind of fancy, so no difference really.
Well, in Scarlett's old days, this would be her favorite room to raise a ruckus in. But she's here to do a job and knows that this might be a good room to keep things out of. So she's going to walk very carefully and continue past this room, going as daintily as she can clank in her plate metal.
Right.
To leave.
Proverbial bull in the china shop. To the north, you can see a glass French door, and beyond, it looks like a greenhouse. To the right, or east, is the dining room. So that's where Esther and Soldar have entered. So we've got Dustrin is still in the sitting room drawing a chalk circle and will be for some time. Yes? Did you want to jump in?
He'll yell, found any ghosts yet? Anything interesting? I'm still drawing the chalk.
Anthamina, you can hear. You're closest. Do you want to respond?
No, not as of yet. The window just now was just the wind.
Very well. I shall continue.
Please do, and call out if you need anything.
So in the dining room you enter, there is a fireplace against one wall, the kind of eastern wall. And there's a pile of wood stacked beside it. And you can see beyond through this small door here is a kitchen. Otherwise, the table has it's set, but it's with clean dishes and silver and glasses and some fancy crystal. And there's a lovely chandelier hanging above that is not currently lit with candles. There are oil sconces on the various walls as well.
Can I see
Yes.
beneath the table? Beneath the dining table?
Yes, go ahead and roll an investigation check to look around for something underneath the table.
I'm not good at investigation.
Scarlett wants to assist you.
Yeah, help.
Yeah.
How will you help? Are you just going to get down and look with him, or?
Can I light one of the torches or something to get more, or the sconces to get more light in here to help?
You can. So I thought about going with the full darkness on this, but it's maybe I should have. Let's say that there's dim light throughout because the moon is shining brightly tonight. It is nearly full. So the room but under the table is quite dark. So a torch would definitely help. So go ahead and make your investigation roll for Esther, and we'll see what turns up.
Thank you, Captain.
Ooh!
Okay.
You're welcome, bosun.
Indeed. So
Anthamina is watching jealously and going, I could have discovered that.
Right, yeah. So unfortunately, Anthamina did not have quite so much success here as Esther, who looks underneath the table, and in so doing realizes that in fact there is some silver that's fallen onto the ground, right? And there's like a jewel encrusted carving knife that you, looking at, since we are in Gothic Earth here, is probably worth at least 30 pounds. 30 pounds sterling. Or whatever currency they use in Gothic.
$100 knife.
Yeah, you found like a jeweled carving knife, like a fancy pull it out for Thanksgiving dinners, if that's your thing, meal. So
I pick it up.
all right. It looks quite nice. Beyond is the kitchen. To the north is a greenhouse. From the dining room, there's no entry to the greenhouse. There is from the drawing room. So let's jump back to, let's see what Soldar. Esther is crawling around on the floor and seems to have produced a knife. And Scarlett is holding a torch so that Esther can look around. Anthamina is continuing her investigation in the study. and Sildaris is headed towards the greenhouse. What would you like to do, Sildar?
He just kind of stays close to the wall and avoids Scarlet as much as possible, and then like slinks himself into the kitchen. Of course, because that's where Sildar's going.
Yes. Entering the kitchen, you find that it is well appointed as well. There's canned and dry goods lining the shelves. There are cooking utensils of all imaginable sorts. There's a door to the north into the greenhouse. Is there anything in particular would you like to do? Eat, look around, cook?
He'll probably just scavenge for some food. Nothing really imperative. Just waiting for Esther to stop looking for whatever they're looking for.
All right, so would you say you're actually going to prepare a meal, or is this literally just like grab and shove?
Just grab and shove.
Okay. So you do find some cured meats. You find there's some sausage rings hanging up. You find some cheese. You find some beans that are dried that probably aren't so much fun to chew, unless that's your thing, I guess, etc. But there are some old dusty spices that don't seem to have had much use in a few decades. That sort of thing. So you manage to smash and grab a little bit. Well, maybe not smash. I don't want to assume just because you're a barbarian. Grab definitely though. Okay, so Sildar is having a snack. Let's go back to Anthamina. You have established that the wind has opened the window. All of you now hear a chime from the entrance hall indicating we've reached 11:15. What would you like to do, Anthamina? You're still on the ground floor. You know this is a 3-story building. The letter from Calpurnia Lovelace said that there was some sort of crate or chest that might be useful downstairs beneath the stairway. The stairs are back in the entrance hall. What would you like to do?
Anthamina will walk over to Sildaris, but not before speaking to Destrin and saying, I'm leaving for the time being, and you will be alone, but please call out. I don't want to leave you alone for very long. But then Anthamina, before even waiting for an answer, heads up to Sildaris and says, it's not wise for us to be traveling on our own. We should at least be a pair if we're going to be investigating.
So, Sildaris, Anthamina is warning you not to wander off on your own as you enter the greenhouse. What would you like to do? Unmute, don't forget.
Sildaris turns back, eyes widen a little bit, and says, yes, that does sound pretty wise. So why don't you tag along with me then? And
Absolutely, but only for a short while. I do want to go back and check on
walk in.
All right. So you open these two. They're like locked doors. You kind of do a bolt and then open these doors into the greenhouse, and it's rather lovely. In that it's there's some plants growing here in several shelves and banks. There's some kind of how to put it, if you've ever seen old glass that kind of has a wobble to it, right? So the whole far wall has this kind of slash, or it's like a kind of like wavy look to it. It's kind of tinted with age. Dirt is kind of built up around all of the little sills. There's the smell of fresh soil here, but also the underlying scent of decay. Something is dead here.
Sildaris turns his nose up in the air, sniffs, turns back and says, did you smell that?
Yes, I do catch that. Regrettably, that is something that I've had to deal with in my professional life more than a few times. We should investigate.
And while she's talking, my character already begins to investigate. Sildaris isn't one for words. They fail you too often. But begins following his nose to see if he can locate where this decaying thing might be.
So let's have Anthamina roll investigation, because I imagine her taking a kind of rational approach to this. But I think that Sildaris is following his nose, so roll perception. I think in this one, though, because of your background with this particular scent, you would have advantage, Anthamina.
Fine.
All right. So the both of you are able to track the smell to underneath a bank, like a shelf of potted plants. And there's some like canvas bags or like hemp bags of soil or whatever. So you slide those behind, and then there seems to be a dead animal has died, crawled back there and died, like a rat. And it's leaving a scent. What's odd about it, though, is that you don't see anywhere it could have come from. Right? This place seems relatively... there aren't any holes in the walls that you see. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do I properly identify this as a rat, or could it be something else?
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make a nature check.
I'm making it untrained.
Okay.
So 14.
All right. So it looks like a rat, but it does seem to be something strange about it. It's gaunt and very, very almost skeletal.
I'll just mention that to Sildaris and say, there's something odd about this creature. Other than the fact that it's dead, of course, but I don't know. We should be on our guard.
Sildaris will take a sagely look at the rat and see if he corroborates that.
Well, I think that yeah, I mean, we could call that help. And I think, yeah, you confirm that this rat looks odd. Like it's, like there's something wrong with it. Like, was it diseased, or was it perhaps... It doesn't look like it's naturally occurring phenomenon.
This is exactly what Sildaris is doing. Stopping, thinking, and saying nothing. Then looks back up and just nods. Then turns back and says a small prayer over the rat.
All right. So back inside, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and just ask more generally. So imagine you've got somewhere between half hour and a little more than half hour of time left to explore the house, or to prepare for a possible exorcism, or to barricade walls, doors, windows. In fact, walking through this place, every room except the dining, every room actually on this floor has windows and doors. Many of them have walls full of windows. For example, the greenhouse is just a giant glass room. There's stairs going down to the basement and stairs going up to the second floor. So just very generally, describe what you would like your character to do for the next, let's say, half hour in preparation. So I'll just kind of go around again. Scarlet, let's start at the bottom this time. Sildar, what do you think Sildar will be doing for the next 30 minutes? Because remember, the letter claims this stuff happens at midnight. For whatever that's worth.
Sildar just goes through the second floor and just sort of patrols the building pretty much, just to see if there's any threats that need to be seen or taken care of. So he just goes through room to room, barbarian it up.
All right. So Sildar is going to wander kind of through the second floor. There is a third floor as well, like an attic. But we'll get to the second floor in just a moment. Sildaris, you have said your prayer. How do you think you'd spend the next half hour?
So Sildaris isn't quite sure what to make of the rat. The rat is the worst omen of them all, and where it came from is a curiosity. So I think what Sildaris is going to spend his time doing, contributing where he thinks he can best do it. This is not a normal situation for Sildaris. Sildaris is used to nature. Sildaris is used to the outside. This is very urbane, but following where the rats might be is something that he would be good at. So I'm going to spend my time walking around, looking at the plants, talking to them, and figuring out where this rat might have come from if there's no obvious way to the outside.
Okay. So go ahead and make me a perception check. And then while that's, well, let's so go ahead and throw that up there, and then we'll come back and I'll then resolve everybody's actions. Esther, what is Esther up to, do you think, for the next half hour in preparation for whatever?
I think what I'll try to do is try to barricade all the windows as much as I can. I'll start basically butchering the furniture that I find. I'll ask the captain as well. What do you think, Captain? Is this a good idea?
Oh, barricading. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. In fact, when it was my turn, I was going to say I was going to go to the cellar to see the stuff that was alluded to. Mainly to see the sword, but if the handyman puts stuff down there, we might not have to bash up furniture to make barricades.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so it sounds like Esther and Scarlet will be perhaps first. Well, Scarlet will look in the basement, and then maybe they will together work on putting some boards across some windows. Yeah. All right. What about? So I'm imagining that Dustrin's going to be finishing up the circle. Is that correct, or something else?
Yeah. No. Dustrin's muttering under his breath, like, "This is the worst part. It always takes so long. There must be a quicker way to do this. Every time everyone else is exploring, and I'm just." It'll be worth it. It will be worth it.
So let's hear a little bit about this. I'm getting the impression this is not Dustrin's first exercising rodeo, so to speak. What is it about Dustrin's past that would bring him into the exorcism business?
Well, when Dustrin was younger, I imagine him from like a smaller town that maybe like probably had a chapel, but nothing like huge or anything, not in a city. Him and his friends were like playing around and in like the woods around their town or whatnot, and one of them like got hurt and died, and the kid came back because like super mad about like just dying like that. It's like I all of you, like, I imagine all of us were like jumping over like something we shouldn't have been jumping over, like a little like a crevice or something, and the kid slipped and fell and actually like sort of got really hurt and then died because of said wounds. It was just really mad about all of us being okay and him not being okay, but in like that like abstract, I'm a kid, I can't process my emotions kind of way. And so there were a bunch of like weird stuff happening, and eventually the priest that we had was not really equipped to deal with the situation, so somebody was called down from the nearby city, and the kid was exorcised, and Dustrin was just like, was watching it as it was happening. He wasn't supposed to be. He was hiding somewhere and just watching it, almost like, wow, and just was completely enamored by the process and was like, I want to do that. That looks cool. And then as he got older, he's like, okay, I'm all right at this. I picture him failing more than he's like succeeded, but the times that he has succeeded, it's like, okay, I can help people. I will continue this path as my God dictates. But there are parts that he really just doesn't like the like the circle binding, like, oh my God.
Fair. So maybe Dustrin thought about going into a clerical order, but it wasn't for him. He decided, no, that's not his style. Didn't work. Maybe you tried to take some classes and decided they didn't want to do that, or maybe it was just they weren't there wasn't one available, or they weren't friendly, or because you took up the gun instead.
Yes. Well, he thought maybe it's a life of pacifism for him, safe for like exercising spirits and whatnot, but quickly realized that was way too boring. He really just liked the action part of what the priest did, but not the like actual other priestly work. So it was like, I will just focus on the exorcism part and, you know, helping people when I can.
So Dustin is doing his good work in the front room, finishing up this circle, this tedious work. What about Esther? Also, I might add, a gun wielder. What is Esther going to be doing for the next half an hour?
I think I'll join Captain Scarlet if she goes downstairs, and then I'll try to barricade everything we can with everything we find.
Excellent. And we'll resolve that momentarily. What about Anthemina? You've got half an hour to investigate as you see fit. What would you like to do?
Sorry, Anthemina will do a round, just looking at everything. She'll go through the kitchen, back through. Let's see, is there? Oh no, I guess not. Back through the study, and then she will be on her way to the entry hall, but stops and checks in with Dustrin, and just says, "Is everything all right? Are you continuing well? Can I get you something?"
So Dustrin, yeah, you don't forget you're muted. Sorry.
It'll be done soon. Just takes a lot of time.
I understand. If there's any way that I can assist, I think I've done at least as much investigation as I need to for the time being.
I recall the letter mentioning food, as perhaps there's any water. That would be a great aid. But otherwise, I just have to finish this.
Anthemina will then head back over and procure a few things from the kitchen.
All right. So, Dustrin, I think I'll ask you to... This isn't yet your official role to test the strength of your circle. I just would like to see a religion check from you to see how well you remember the details of the exercising business.
Oh, please, please, please.
So,
I am proficient. Oh.
Okay. Everything's going fine. You've got all the necessary ingredients for a successful exorcism right in front of you. Anthemina, you're able to get some food and water from the kitchen. Let's go ahead and jump quickly up to Sildar, who is our one second floor member here. I'm going to move just Sildar. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Over.
Of course, the barbarian's by himself on the second floor.
Yes. All right. So the rest of you will just look at the first
I'm
floor.
glad somebody's going upstairs.
Right? Yeah, right? We've got a whole second floor over there we need to explore. All right, so Sildar, you should see just yourself now in the middle of the hallway, do you? Here?
I do.
Okay, so you find yourself in a... I'll even open up the doors for you here. All right, so you find yourself in a great hall. There are 6 or 7 doors off of this into rooms. And you're just going to kind of like wander around? Is that the gist?
Yep, pretty much.
All right, so you get the impression these are all bedrooms, but one of them seems to be a child's nursery. Would you like to... How carefully would you say you're searching rather thoroughly or just taking a kind of a quick once-over? I mean, you've got
just a patrol, more of a... I'm not a searcher by any measure of a person, but I am... I'm holding a sword in hand just because I clearly am by myself on the second floor of this building. And occasionally I will stab a pillow every once in a while.
All right. Go ahead and let's just see. Then we will use your passive perception. Let me make sure I've got that on mind here. That is...
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting for us. Your passive perception is 10. Okay. So, yeah, it looks to be that this area is entirely empty. What's your... This is not one I normally think to check. What is your passive investigation score? I bet it's really fantastic. Let's see.
Awful.
So it's 9. Okay. All right. So yeah, you find that there are 3 or 4 guest rooms to the north and west. There is a larger kind of lounge blue room to the southwest. There's a master bedroom to the east, and the northeast has a child's room and nursery. The rooms are covered with dust. The child's bedroom has a canopy bed and a rocking chair and a dresser. There are scattered toys on the floor. That's really all you see up here. There are a few pillows that look like they could use some stabbing, just in case, you know. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. You do notice. Let's see. The stairs continues up another floor. Other than that, no, there's not much to see.
So I come back down covered in feathers, and I tell everybody, "There's nothing up there except for a bunch of feathers."
Just feathers. All right.
Are you sure, buddy?
Let's bring you back.
Well, I mean, I walked around. I didn't even know what I'm supposed to be looking for. Aren't like ghosts invisible?
Yeah.
Makes a fair point. All right. By this time, so you've spent some time barricading. Let's go ahead and jump down to the downstairs. So let me just describe what you find when, for those of you who descend. The cellar is dark. So I would move you all, but you all gave me a special gift as a DM. You're a party of 6, and none have dark vision. So
technically, in Gothic Earth, everyone is human, so no one has dark vision.
Even better, right? So guess what? The cellar's very dark. So I'm saying that there's a pretty bright moon out. So there's windows everywhere. You can see fine in the house on the first and second floor enough. It's dim light. But the basement's pitch dark. So how are you going to deal with it? Does somebody have torches? I think Scarlett had lit one earlier. All right. So you descend to the cellar. It is dark. It is dusty. It is murky. It is damp. There's a small table sitting near the stair with this candlestick on it.
Well, I'd like to light that. That seems useful.
So you find that there are blankets under the trunk. I'm sorry. There's a bunch of blankets under the stairs. And hold on, let me just check. Are you still with us, Felipe?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I
was just holding the guns.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no, did you freeze?
Yeah.
No, you're
No.
just that cool. Going down. Yeah, perfectly.
Esther is. Yeah.
Esther, right, okay. Important clarification. All right, so you descend, and it's a dusty, dank kind of cellar, almost like a root cellar. And underneath the stairs, a pile of blankets. And per Calpurnia's instructions, you pull the blankets aside, and you find a wooden trunk. Cracking it open, I assume that's the plan. Are you sure you want to? That's fine.
Yeah.
So the trunk contains wooden boards, each half the size of a window. There's some hammer, nails, rope, a wrench, and there is a sword with strange markings.
Ooh, that's shiny. Be it a great sword or a regular sword. I mean, it seems pretty great.
It is a long sword. So one or two-handed, your choice. And it has, interesting, intricate runes up and down it. You recall that she said it was the Loveless family sword. If you want to try to identify what the runes might do, that would be an Arcana check. If somebody thinks that they are capable of such things, feel free.
I don't think I am, but I'll take a look and then probably pass it off to Anthemina to take a better look at.
Nervously, I'll wait, sorry.
Oh, I know my way around a sword a little bit.
Believe it or not, you've heard of swords like this. They are called ghost-touched swords and said to have special warding powers against ghosts and the undead.
Well, that sounds pretty handy.
Don't know why they'd have one of those.
I mean, if their family's been haunted, it seems useful. Does anyone besides me use a sword? All right, then I can bring this to Gilbert in case he wants to use a big-ass sword, because I'm charitable. I said Gilbert, and I meant Sildar, but I will take this to Sildar.
So,
And,
all right. So you ascend. Are you going to? So how? Tell me a little bit. So you spent, let's say, half the time, looking around the first floor and going downstairs. You now have brought wood, and are you going to try to board up some windows or doors?
Yes.
That was the plan. So tell me a little bit about. There are more than you could board up. I mean, if you had spent literally every minute of all six of you doing this, you could have maybe boarded up the whole first floor. But there's only 3 of you for half of the time. So which rooms are going to be secured and which not?
definitely the one in the study that was clattering.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the study is boarded up. That's one you could do. You could do, for example, all of the rooms that border the greenhouse, or you could do the front door.
I'm going to leave this one up to some of the thinkier folks. I just know that one window needs to get hammered up. I think the greenhouse might be a lost cause.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
And I'm afraid to bring a hammer into the parlor.
Right.
I don't like that room.
So does anyone else want to try and strategize about which rooms to secure, or which? And here's another question: what room do you? I suppose you ought to spend at least some of the time in the sitting room, since that's where the exorcism might happen at midnight.
Sure.
So why don't you go ahead and position yourself on the map where you'd like to be when you expect the clock to ring midnight, and I will assume that at least that room has boarded windows as well as the study. So the sitting room is bottom left. So if you want me to help you by moving your tokens there, I can. In case you got lost in the house. Let's see. So we need Sildaris and Scarlet and Suldar to come on down.
I think maybe not the sitting room, since we want them to go in there and get an exercise.
Well, as people are coming back in, and Destrin is finishing up. Okay, so I've done part of it, but we're still missing a key component, an anchoring item. We still don't know who. The circle is only good for one exorcism. If there's multiple ghosts, we might need to find something else to do with them.
Yes. So Dustin remembers that the best way to exercise something is to have something that's tied to the person or the creature being exercised. And no one found any items that seemed to be tied to anybody at all. As far as you know, you did find a steak knife or a carving knife in the dining room. So unless that's related to the supposed haunting, you don't have an anchoring item right now.
What about the history journal?
Oh, so you've got some history books in the study, and you have the sword as well, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The sword is the Calpurnia family sword. So if the Haunter is Loveless family sword. If the Haunter is a Loveless, then that would help. But if you recall, the letter said something about it being someone whom the Loveless family spurned, someone who was betrothed to a prior Loveless. And that Loveless rejected her cruelly when she returned from her trip at sea. And that it is that, the family myth goes, that caused the haunting. So you have not found anything related to whoever this person is just yet.
Sildar, did you find anything upstairs?
There was a kid's room and a bunch of pillows. Well, there was a bunch of pillows. The pillows are not really around anymore. But yeah, it's the kid's room.
By the way, he's still got feathers like all over. Right?
He doesn't look. He doesn't look you in the eye like at all. He just kind of like looks down at the ground.
Around what time is it? Like, do we have time?
It's got 5 minutes. You could search one more room if that's what you'd like to do.
I was gonna say, do we have a mad dash to time to search for anything either upstairs.
So
or
with
around
what
here.
you've done, you've searched a couple rooms and boarded up some rooms. So you have the time to search exactly one more room.
Okay.
So I can move you all to the second floor if that's where if you want to if you all want to run up there, or well, everybody but Dustrin, sorry. Does everyone want to do a quick search of the second floor?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
I'll move you there. All right. So you all find yourself. Let me put you on where you belong. I moved you guys out of the house for a moment because it was just our friend Sildar there. So you should be in the middle here. And you are in this grand room. There are a bunch of open doors, and there's feathers just everywhere. So Antonina has entered the master bedroom. As you look around very quickly, you can see that there's a nursery to the top right. Esther has entered a guest room. Sildaris is looking in another guest room. They seem to be fairly empty and austere, the guest rooms at least. The master bedroom is more well appointed. And then there is, so it basically is, do you want to search the children's room or the master bedroom? Or one of the guest rooms?
Do we all only get to do one, or are we like each doing a med dash?
Yeah, that was my question.
Well, let's see. So, I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and say, sure, you can just search both. That will be, if you split up, you could search both.
Okay.
I don't want to be part of the mad dash. What I want to do is I actually want to try to board up the dining room a little bit and start a fire.
Oh.
'Cause there's a fireplace in there, and it's probably one of the few light sources we have. So Sildar is like, maybe I'm just gonna start a fire.
All right. So there's wood waiting for you. So Sildar begins with the fire. It's a nice warming glow fills the room. Go ahead and make investigation checks for those of you searching.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, the master bedroom, and then let's have at least one from Sildaris, Scarlet, or Esther in the children's nursery room. If you like,
Sildaris, I can help you because I'm not investigating.
I was going to suggest, yeah, somebody can help somebody else. See what you find, if anything.
Yeah.
2 natural 20s.
Wow.
Okay, you find a shortcut to the end of the story. Congratulations. Holy cow. All right, so I'll start with the master bedroom. In the master bedroom, you find there is a trunk slid underneath the bed in which are 3 scrolls. No, yes, 3 scrolls. One scroll... I'll just go ahead and hand wave. Maybe, because I'm never quite sure. Would somebody who isn't a caster automatically be able to know what the scroll is? Would they have to show it to the caster? Well, whatever. Let's say you show it to the relevant caster, which in some of these cases there isn't one. One is a scroll of protection from good and evil. I believe Scarlet would be able to use that. Scroll of continual flame. I think, that's a wizard spell, so Sildar could... cast it with being an Eldritch Knight, should he choose. And the other one is a Scroll of Spiritual Weapon. Also one that perhaps Scarlet could cast. I don't remember if that's on the Paladin list. I think it is, but...
I think some Paladin. Yeah, I think I can do that.
Maybe a Redemption Paladin can, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So anyway, you find...
it's like Redemption and the cleric-y like Paladin.
Right. So you find some scrolls that apparently were put underneath the bed of the master bedroom by someone worried about protecting themselves. In the children's bedroom, you find some other things. You find a ship in a bottle on the dresser. You find that you can tell by looking carefully at it that it is a miniature of a ship called the Inamorata, which is the ship named in the letter. Opening one of the top drawers, you find a rotten handkerchief with the initials A.L. And I'll remind you, Anesthesia Lovelace was the name of the person who spurned the other person in the past. And this A.L. handkerchief is wrapped around a locket that contains a lock of human hair and a sketch of a woman from approximately a century past. what do you know? The sketch looks something like this. So that it doesn't have the person's name on it, but it does have this face done in a nice charcoal. All right, so that is what you find, and you can hear the first ring of the clock as you reconvene in the stairs. Would you like to descend? I'll go ahead and put you back on the first floor, and go ahead and choose where you'd like to be as the clock tolls. I'll go ahead and gather everyone in the main room, because that's where you would have come down from the stairs. And then you have basically like 20 seconds or 10 seconds to for the ringing, the tolling to end. So I guess Dustrin is in the sitting room. My bad.
Yeah, I'll run to hand Dustrin one of the things that we found. Either the
Come on, buddy, hurry up, Soldier, hurry up.
So, as you
Always in such a hurry, best friend.
So you enter the room just as Dustrin has completed the circle, just as the clock tolls the 12th toll, and there is a howling wind, and then the moonlight flickers as a heavy, heavy fog suddenly rolls in from the sea and envelops the house, dropping it into darkness. So you are all in pitch black light right now. And you can't see anything. So clearly you might start looking for torches. The air suddenly grows very cold. And suddenly you hear breaking glass in several places from around the house, as well as rattling wood and doors. And we're going to take a very short break. All right, so we'll be back, everyone, in just a moment to see how our adventurers fare. All right, and we're back. Hello, everyone. I'm Eugene Marshall, and this is Sigil Spotlight. We are a diverse collection of tabletop role-playing game creators playing and featuring each other's work. Today we're playing The Curse of the Mariner's Heart by Jessica Marcrum, and we are featuring the Apothecary class from Ismael Alvarez, and we are featuring some rules concerning the undead by Vic or VJ Harris, all of whom are here today playing with us. So far, we have the players, the characters, have been invited to come investigate a haunted house. And they've learned that this house is allegedly haunted because a century ago, Anesthesia Loveless spurned her lover who had returned from the sea, and she fled heartbroken. And ever since, on the solstice, the winter solstice, in fact, the house is haunted by a ghost ship, the Inamorata, allegedly. And of course, some people are kind of dismissive of this old tale, yet one of the family has decided to hire our intrepid adventurers to travel to the manor on the winter solstice at midnight to get to the bottom of this and clear out this problematic haunting. They investigated, they found strange tidings here and there, but nothing certain. At the very last minute, as the clock struck midnight, they discovered several interesting items upstairs, including what looks to be an old drawing of the lover of Anesthesia's, Loveless, as well as an old handkerchief of hers, and they also discovered the family heirloom ghost-touched sword in the basement. And they have also prepared a circle for a possible exorcism. They have reconvened in the sitting room where the circle is drawn when suddenly a heavy fog has enveloped the house and plunged it into darkness. Windows rattle, glass shatters in the distance. The wood that they've used to board up several of the windows and doors begins to shake as something out there tries to get in. My players, would you please roll initiative?
Oh boy.
Be sure to click on your token before you roll off of your sheet, please, so you pop into the turn order. Okay. All right. And I will do the same.
Ooh, abyssal.
Let's see here.
Ugh, could be worse. Please don't let me be the highest player.
Oh no.
Oh God. Okay. Tied.
Wow.
Wow, we're really Dexy.
So let me...
Yeah.
I'm a dex-based fighter. This is
Me too.
Well, all right. So it's clear that this has been, frightening for all of you. It's that you're all unsettled by the strange events that have occurred, and you've lost your composure for a moment. And when the lights went out, okay, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. You got. Don't mind that you don't need to worry about anything that appears in the chat right now. It's nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh, there's Speedy.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God.
And okay, we got a few more though. That's just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen and gentlefolk.
Really funny. I rarely write combat-y adventures. This is like.
All right. Well, there's a bit of it in here. All right.
Just a little bit.
You can do it, little computer. All right, and then we go. And this goes to the token layer, and then I get to roll these fun fellows. All right. So, tell me, how is everyone reacting while I fiddle behind the scenes? I should have done this in the break. Let's just go around. Scarlett, how do you react immediately when the lights go out?
I would immediately pull out my greatsword.
Okay, so that's...
I have passed the ghost touch sword over to Bosun Suldar.
Yes.
Believing that he is better with a dexterous weapon.
All right. And what...
Not even that it's dexterous. I like two hands.
What about Anthemina? What's Anthemina up to?
In the darkness, Anthemina is practically taking out a couple of vials and mixing them together in just such a way as to produce a dark vision potion and then drinking it.
Yeah, tell me about this. So what does it look like when, I'd like to hear a little more about the Apothecary forensic action here. So what does it look like when Anthemina, do you have a case that you carry these things with you? You have an alchemy kit of tools?
It's almost like a belt pouch with several different things at once. And so she's probably got a side pack full of just vials because she goes through so many of them. But she'll take out a few and start mixing very quickly, a little bit of water, a little bit of powder, and a little bit more of powder, and just putting them into different vials. She'll usually have two and just kind of mix them together into different sizes and whatnot. And it's almost like if someone was mixing a very small drink, and there's a little bit of artistry to it, just getting it just right. And she kind of flicks the vial before drinking it. Most of that is superstition on her part, but that is kind of how she creates her effects.
All right. So here we see the scene. The lights have gone out. You hear the rattling, the glass breaking. Scarlett has tossed the torch aside, pulled out the sword. Anthemina is quickly mixing a tincture and taking a filter and drinking it quickly so that she can see in the dark. Dustrin is just finished the circle. What is it that you're going to put in the circle to serve as the anchor?
So I was given a number of items, right?
Yes.
Or I'm not sure which item.
You have to choose one of them. There's a sword. There was a ship in a bottle you found. There was a handkerchief, and there's a locket with a lock of hair.
A locket.
I'm gonna go with the locket. I'm gonna go with the locket. It seems okay. Whatever. I'm gonna go with the locket. It seems like the best idea. I'm gonna place it in the circle. The binding circle should, once it's placed, should like do like the shimmering thing, and then it's all set. And I have a prayer that I do every time before I start an exorcism.
All right.
And everybody hears me say, "Most merciful Judge, hallowed keeper of the dead, with troubled heart I come to you. Sustain me with your power, so that I may cast away the darkness and guide this soul to your waiting gaze. I seek this of you with open arms, O eternal shepherd. Anoint me with your hallowed mercy." And then I'm just holy book in hand, waiting for what's to come.
All right. So you in the past you've had the experience that it's sometimes the creature that's anchored arrives almost immediately, but sometimes it takes a little time. All right, so that is happening. What is Sildaris up to?
So Sildaris hears Dustrin utter this formal and ornate and ritualized prayer, and is incredibly worried. And whenever those strong feelings come over Sildaris, it's hard to maintain the glamour. And so rippling across Sildaris' visage, he's rippling between this lanky Norwegian teen and an 8.5 foot tall, blue, long-eared giant. Still, the features are there. The kind eyes, the wide open glance of utter fear. Sildaris just mutters under his breath, hearing this prayer. In giant, old gods. I'm pretty sure this new god is going to mess this up. So can you keep an eye on us, okay? And that's going to be my ritualized casting of the guidance cantrip.
Oh, okay, that's nice. All right, so Dustrin, Sildaris is throwing divine shade a little bit, but giving you guidance while doing so. A little bit of god talk there. All right, so how about what about Sildar? You've just been handed this sword. Seems to be something coming from out. Actually, you in particular, being right next to the door, see that the glass in the room across the hall over here has broken. So something is coming through the room on the other side of the entrance hall. There's like a little parlor there. Is there anything in particular you're going to be doing in response to this?
I say, best friend, am I allowed to leave the room, or I'm supposed to stay inside here?
No. Stay here on the other side of the door. You cover this side, and I will cover the other. Okay? Just stay here.
Okay. So I turn around and stare at the door with my sword up, a little tiny sword in my big hands.
All right.
And that's all I do.
You take up position at the door. Let's see. Whom haven't we heard from yet? Esther.
Yeah. I hurriedly draw my backpack and take out a torch, light it up, and try to put it on one of the sconces that you would describe that was in the room.
Okay. So that's something you could do in just an action. So you pull out a torch and light it, and then you just kind of drop it in or near one of these sconces. So the sconce has oil in it. So by just bringing the torch to the sconce, it lights. So where you are over here, so let's say it's this one. There. All right. So that lights up that corner. You now have this room is now brightly lit, and there's some dim light in the hallway and the next room over. So at this point, the things that have been banging, no, I've got you in there. Everybody's in there. So that have been breaking glass suddenly reveal themselves. Let me give you a picture of what comes out of the room in the next hall, across the hall, and approaches you. It's something like maybe you've probably never seen. Whoops, not Sildaris. You've seen Sildaris, although you might not have seen Sildaris in his true form. It's this. So you see a disembodied hand, rotting, crawling along the floor with this disconcerting clitter-clatter of its thick, rotting, yucky fingernails. And it comes right through this door and is going to try to grab at Sildar. This crawling claw tries to grab hold of you and is not particularly effective. There's a disembodied hand scratching at your feet, Sildar. But before you can react, more action is going to happen because there are quite a few individuals up here that I've been breaking through. So you can hear banging now, not just broken glass, but banging at one of the doors to the north that you have barricaded. And then beyond that, let's see who is next on the turn order. We go all the way down to, yes. From the room that had the crawling claw across the hallway, following it are several spectral figures floating above the ground, howling like the wind that you heard earlier, in fact. They look like this. So the window has broken in the room across the hall.
They seem friendly.
Yeah, the window has broken in the room across the hall. Fog, thick, tangible fog, is billowing into this room, filling into the hallway, and out of the fog emerges these humanoid, faintly glowing creatures. Their hands clawing at you all, but mostly at Sildar and Esther. So here they come. One there, and one comes right here. All right, so the first one is going to take a swing at Sildar. It reaches out its deathly claw to try to grab hold of you, and also misses you. So do you think that Sildar is the kind that would dodge out of the way or just stand and take the blow, resisting it with his toughness?
Stand and take the blow.
All right, so you just stand there and look down as this spectral hand claws against you ineffectively. The other one reaching, however, for Esther, this nasty spectral hand reaching out and is again knocked aside by your defenses.
I dodge it. I'm very fast.
Yeah.
I'm short and fast.
Slip aside as the two specters enter the room and leave you untouched. But then, yet again, a third one comes through here. Now, this one, Esther, you can take a swing at if you have a melee attack. You can take a swing at. So it comes next to Sildar again, because that's... well, actually, you know what? Let's roll... Yeah, that's fine. It'll just go after Sildar. Sildar looks like a larger target at the moment. So reaches out. A 17. What is your armor class? Does a 17 hit, Sildar?
17 is my armor class.
Okay, so that means I hit the DC, which means you take 9 necrotic damage. So this time, when the spectral form emerges from the fog and reaches its hand forward, it doesn't stop at your skin. It seems to enter into your body, and as it does, it's incredibly cold, and as it withdraws its hand, it's like it's sucking its life force out of you. Not only do you take that damage, but you feel as though your very life has been reduced by that amount, which means your maximum hit points are down. Yes. All right. So it finally, after that assault, Esther, the group has been caught kind of flat-footed here. Everyone else got to go. Now you do, the adventurers. Esther, what do you do? You're surrounded by the undead.
Can I see through the specter to Sildar?
Yeah, you can see kind of through and past. So there's fog wisping around them, but they're kind of translucent.
So I say, buddy, duck down! And I fire both pistols at the specter in front of me.
All right. So melee, you're shooting into melee here, or with an enemy within 5 feet, so you have disadvantage. But go ahead and do your attack and your second attack. Yeah. And we'll see. Well, that's, yes, disadvantage or no.
Yeah.
The palm pistol hits. How about your...
And it's now empty.
And then the second shot? Well, actually, that's the offhand shot. And then, 2 solid hits for 12 piercing and 6 piercing as that specter takes the shots. Let's see. So what kind of bullets are you shooting? Just mundane bullets, I would imagine, yes?
Yeah.
All right. So these bullets tear through its spectral form. Luckily, no, they don't strike Sildar, who is beyond. They seem to kind of be absorbed by the spectral body. But what you notice is that the form doesn't seem as badly bothered by this as it might be were it made of flesh. So it kind of quickly reforms as its misty bodies suck back together. And that is, unless you'd like to do something else, we will move.
No, and I dropped the palm pistol because it has only one shot available, so I drop it and I'm ready with the other one.
Okay.
And I take out the rapier.
The rapier.
I draw my rapier. Yeah.
All right. So you've got the rapier in the offhand and the main pistol in your main hand.
Yeah.
Dustrin, you have stood up from doing the circle. You turn around and then there's specters in your face. What would you like to do?
Awesome. Okay. So the being that I tried to summon is not here yet, correct?
Yeah, you're getting the feeling that there's no being here that is tied to the anchor.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Whew. I am going to shoot my I'm gonna take out my I'm gonna shoot my palm pistol, and first I will do my pepper box first,
Yes.
which range weapon disadvantage.
Right.
Yeah.
That is definitely a hit.
Both hits.
Are you striking the one directly in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Yes. And then because of my one of my feats, I can also do a bonus action shot with a light weapon, which the palm pistol is.
Yes.
Hits again, and I will use my second attack that I get as a 5th level fighter with the pepper box.
Oh yes. Okay.
Ooh. Neat.
That one. Let's see. With disadvantage, just hits.
Oh wait. Oh yes.
It does. All right. So as you saw before, however, each of your shots with Esther's pistols, each of the shots tears into the creature, but it does not seem to damage it as much as you would expect. You see its form momentarily lose shape and then reshape again, and it turns its baleful gaze upon you.
Oh, great.
And, do you have more?
No, I will follow suit with Esther and drop the palm pistol and pull out my rapier. Since
all right,
one shot.
The one shot goes. Sildaris, what would you like to do?
This is absolutely terrifying. So these spectral creatures come rushing through the walls. The ritual isn't working. I kind of expected that. Sildaris absolutely did because, new gods. Wow. So turning back and forth, Sildaris is having a hard time making up his mind before he simply intones. He begs the old spirits to help guide his blade, and a bunch of glowing sprites begin dancing around the damaged specter, guiding his axe. I will move up, and after having cast Hunter's Mark, I'm going to aim for the sprites and hopefully hit that specter. Let's see how this works. Hand axe, attack.
All right. So the Hunter's Mark allows you to identify where this creature is. No matter where it goes, it helps imbue your attacks with extra oomph. But in this case, the sprites don't quite manage to guide your blade into this spectral form. This is not something that you've encountered before, and you were a little put off by it. You still have a keen eye on this creature, so you know that the hunt's not over. But for now, your blade has not found it home. Would you like to do anything else? I think that's probably all you've got.
Move, bonus,
and action.
Action.
All right.
I'm done.
So it is now Scarlet's turn. You turn and see as you've just thrown the sword down, or the torch down, pulled out your great sword, And then here comes death, looking for you.
So we had heard a number of clatters happening, correct?
Yes, quite a few from the north of where you are right now as well.
I would like to use my divine sense.
Yes.
So I can see how many of these things are actually here.
All right. So do you just close your eyes? Do you if I recall, the paladin's text says that you actually smell the undead.
I smell them. Like a noxious odor, and powerful good rings like heavenly music in your ears. Right. So I would like to take a moment to just ground myself and take a deep breath.
All right. So
and open my third eye and all of that and see with my other senses what else is around here. Because it has to be more than just specters and a freaky hand.
Right. So you smell, should I say, the stench of death from those in the room here. There's the 3 specters. There's actually 2 seemingly smaller, low to the ground scents in the hallway. Mm-hmm. But you also get the impression that there's some other stench. I don't think, if I recall, if you get specific numbers or anything like that. So
I don't think I do.
Yeah. So I'll give you this though.
I know the location of any within 60 feet.
Yeah.
And I know the type, but not its identity.
Okay. So you can tell there's several undead here with you that you're aware of, including another one that you haven't seen yet in the hall beyond. You also get the impression that there are several in a room and a half to the north. Maybe 50 feet, 40, 50 feet to the north, that are coming your way.
So I'm going to run that way.
Excellent.
And can I, let's see, 40 or 50 feet to the north. I'll move myself up that way.
So as you turn to face the open door to the north, you see that it is quite dark beyond the threshold. These rooms being the only that are lit. This room, in fact.
Yeah, that's okay.
Awesome. Okay.
So I'm in the study now?
Yes, you are in the study. It is very dimly lit. You're right at the edge of the dim light. And you are kind of in danger of bumping into some furniture if you go any further.
Okay.
So you've done your action and move.
Yeah, can I see anything here?
You can see the roll top desk and some bookshelves. You do not see any undead. The impression you got was that they were a little bit further, maybe 10 or 20 feet further north. Probably, given that you'd been in this area before, in the room with the breakables.
No, I don't want to go back to the breakables.
Well, it's probably too late because you're now hearing things break in that room.
Okay. That door to come down there happens by coming through here, right? They don't go out in the hall?
Yeah, you're actually quite right next to the door into that room. I mean,
perfect.
You could reach out and touch it. That door is currently open, but it's just pitch black. You can't see anything in it right now.
Cool. Then I will just stand there to defend my friends.
Okay.
With my big ass sword at the ready.
All right. So, so Scarlet disappears into the darkness to the north. As she does,
later, Gator.
Another little hand comes crawling into the room, past underneath the specter. Soldar, you can take an attack of opportunity if you like, as this thing tries to crawl in and grab Esther. So this is only going to be a hit, or only going to account. It doesn't matter, it missed anyway. But let's see if Soldar squishes the hand before. Yes. So as this hand comes through, what do you think? Do you use the new sword that you've been given, or is it a stomp for this, Soldar?
I use the new sword.
All right. So as you swing the sword, there's this kind of moonlit glimmer that kind of dances up and down it, and not quite enough to illuminate the room, but it definitely is visible. And as it strikes the creature, the hand, there's a little flash of pale light, and it just turns to ash. All right, so there's the hand.
Thank you, buddy.
You've now killed a crawling claw, and we are back. Oh no, it is Soldar. It's your proper turn now. We still got. I forget. You guys, how well you rolled on initiative. All right, Sildar, there are 3 wraiths, or specters, I'm sorry, in front of you. They're nebulous forms and deathly claws reaching for you and your friends.
Sildar like shivers from the original attack that he had and goes, that wasn't cool. He rages and then swings at the same one that Esther attacked. I don't know which one that was.
The one directly north of you.
Cool. So he takes his first attack and hits.
Yes. Hits and hits. Hits for days. And you get the rage damage on both of those if you chose to rage beforehand. So
the first attack, that first attack was actually against the claw.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So, all right. So the first one's a hit. The second one, alas, not so. But that's 14 points of damage, and this is a magical sword. Would you like to describe sending this undead specter back to its final rest with a ghost-touched sword, longsword?
Sildar goes, nobody messes with my best friend, and slashes down. And then as soon as he slashes down, a little glint of light, and he goes, that's for you, buddy.
Thank you. I told you it was a good sword.
With a flash, the creature explodes into dust. It slowly falls to the ground. It is now. Sildar, would you like to... So you could take your second attack, of course, but it will miss. But just so we know, which one are you moving or attacking? Which one? There's a hand to your right and 2 specters to your left.
I aim for the specter to my left.
Okay. So, yeah, you bring the sword around, but the specter it's almost as though it's just made of mist, and the sword passes right through it without effect. We're back at the top. No, it is Anthamina. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. Anthamina, finally, you've turned, you've caught your breath, you can see now. Let me give you dark vision since I can fix that on your token. What would you like to do?
Anthamina will... Let's see if there's a good way for me to do this. If I was to use Acid Splash from where I'm standing, could I get these guys or would I have to move?
I don't see why you couldn't get those 2. If I recall, you hit 2 creatures within 5 feet of each other, and the range is 60 feet.
In fact, I'll move here initially to do that, and I will target them both with Acid Splash.
Very well.
I'll go ahead and click it.
All right, so they need to 60 feet. So they need to both make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. Let's see how they do. This one's the one at the top, and this one's the one at the bottom. Oh, no. So the acid, so you throw like I'm imagining you're throwing like a vial, yeah? Mm-hmm. So you have made this, you quickly pull out this concoction and you toss it, and it hits the ground, and as you've done many times before, it explodes, and there's this splash of acid. But unfortunately, you didn't take into account the fact that they're actually like the bottom, they're like a foot or 2 off the ground, right? They're just kind of hovering. And so the acid splashes in this big bubble onto the ground, but it doesn't actually really connect with their bodies or their insubstantial forms.
Anthamina is... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go on. How does Anthamina respond?
She just cusses under her breath, but then concernedly moves over in this direction as she wants to help Scarlet in case something should be sneaking up on her.
Well,
that would be her action.
It just so happens that something might be sneaking up on her. Let's see. So, Scarlet, you are suddenly keenly aware that something is next to you.
Oh, perfect.
But you don't know. You get the impression that it had to hurry to get to you, right? It had to, let's say, dash. In fact, and you are now, as this happens, you feel as though they're surrounded. Anthamina, you see this. In fact, I will reveal a perhaps for some of you familiar
friends.
Right? It's something that some of you have seen before. It is an undead body. It is a skeleton. And several of these come crawling out. They look, like our friend here. And they are indeed rotten skeletal corpses. But let me paint this picture a little bit differently here. You're seeing an image here. It looks like an old warrior. The ones that you see, especially you, Scarlet, because although you can barely see at all, but you can smell in the dark that they have the scent of the sea on them. And Anthemina, you can see that these are not just skeletons. They are dressed in rotting pirate clothing, right? They carry rusty scimitars. They have unnecessary eye patches. They have kind of sailors' tattered pants and sashes and shirts and hats and boots, or what remains of these things. So several of them have now poured into the room. Let me see. Is there one more? There is. All right, so he comes as well, and he comes down to here. All right, you can now tell, Scarlet, you're surrounded, even if you can't quite see. Back down in the southern room, there are two.
Since they went around me, do I get to make an opportunity attack?
So actually, only if you can see them.
Oh, okay. I can sort of see them. I can smell them.
Yeah, you could definitely see them after they were past you, but unfortunately, you were just into the dark.
Okay.
So let me double check here. Yep. Alas. So
say I could smell them though.
You definitely knew they were around, but So back in the sitting room, Dustrin, you're frustrated perhaps by the fact that the circle does not seem to be working, or maybe, just maybe, it's just going to take a little bit longer. And the specter in your face decides to attack you. Maybe it understands at some level what it is you're trying to do, and it's not good for an undead, that's for sure. Oh my, a brutal hit.
Ooh.
So, how many hit points do you have, Dustrin?
44.
Okay. Well, you have 17 fewer, and that is also your maximum is now reduced by 17. So this creature, this spectral, foggy being, just reaches a twisted hand right into your chest. And you feel your heart stop, just completely stop for a moment. Your eyes kind of roll back, and then as it withdraws its hand, and it's almost as though you can see your life essence coming out with it. And you feel weaker. Ouch. The next one down here is going to attack. So I don't know. Let's see whom do we want to attack? 1 is Sildaris, 2 is Soldar. Sildaris. Sildaris. 2 is Soldar, right? Did I say that? Yes. Mm. Okay, so it's still facing you, Soldar. It saw what you did to its friend, the crawling claw. It's unhappy about this. And so it reaches its twisted claw forward, but this time again, just you feel its strange spectral nails just scrape down your skin and unable to find purchase in your soul. All right. It is now Esther's turn.
Okay. So I'm gonna use my action surge to take the disengage action.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And I'm gonna move over here, and from here I'm going to shoot this one, and I'm going to spend a grit point, and I will get advantage on the roll.
Excellent.
With the first attack.
So the gunslinger.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Let's go. Come on.
Oh my. Excellent. All right. So it is still not a magical attack, but it is an impressive attack. Your shot just goes right through this creature's center mass, and a huge hole kind of opens up in it, and its little tendrils slowly shape as it's blasted back a little bit, and it looks much weaker. It's more than most of it's kind of blown away, but it's still hanging on by a thread. A wisp remains.
Come on, die again! And I shoot once again with a pistol.
Yes.
It's already died.
Yeah, from the other room, Scarlet's like, hey. Oh my. All right, sure. Where would you like to dispatch this specter to, or with?
When I shot the second one, I said die, and I listened to Eeyore. Well, it can die again, I think. And I shoot, shot, and as soon as the bullet goes through, it disappears. It becomes mist, and I'm like, yeah, it did. It actually did.
Good job, lass.
All right. Dustrin, there's a specter here that the specter that attacked you just got blown away by your friend Esther. And thankfully, I imagine. But there is another one here that's attacking Sildar.
So Dustrin's breath is coming in very raspy. And I will fire 2 shots from. No, I will swing twice with my rapier instead of the pepper box. Where did I just? Oh, there it is. My bad. Okay, rapier.
All right, so you stab at the specter, but it don't manage to connect with whatever it is in this creature that's substantial. Instead, you kind of wisp through its spectral form without connecting with anything.
Okay, here's a question. Since it's rolling advantage and disadvantage and I get 2 attacks, do I just take that second roll and that damage or roll it again?
So the way I normally do it is I just take the one on the left because that's the first one that rolled. And so then if you want to do a second attack, you would just roll again.
Okay.
You can, yeah. Well, that's definitely a hit. All right. Boom. All right. So you swing your rapier and definitely connect, cutting into this creature's form. Again, it's almost in this case, it's almost as though you severed off its spectral arm, and that arm just dissipates into mist. But then the mist slowly, sinuously kind of emerges from its core body and kind of forms a new sort of spectral arm. And now it turns and faces you. It had been facing Sildar.
Oh my god. I just kind of shout, damn it all!
Sildaris, Dustrin's having some trouble next to you. What are you going to do?
I'm my eyes will squint in resolute anger. My ears twitch, and I'm just going to slash at it harder because that was obviously my problem the first time. I didn't attack hard enough.
Yes,
that must have been it. And
more
hand attack.
More intensity. All right, so. Yes, this time you swing your hand axe around as you spin, and you do manage to connect with the spectral form of this, specter in front of you, cutting into it. But, and yes, you cut away part of it. Let me deduct that. So, all right. But of course, this creature is still there, shadow billowing out of its mouth and its eyes, empty sockets with just a pale fire behind them.
Mm-hmm.
It's unhappy with you.
Yeah, it is.
Scarlet, you are surrounded by some strange beings that smell of the sea. You know they're there, so you can attack them with disadvantage. And you can see one over here near in the dim light, and you can tell that it's some sort of undead sailor next to Anthamina. In the light of the room behind backlit her.
Right. Well, I can smell them, which means I can hit them. And I'm going to say, did I used to know you before? And do they respond?
This one says, it doesn't say anything, but what happens instead is from behind it, this creature suddenly illuminates the area as you're speaking to this thing. So the skeleton in front of you only says, but this you can actually see through the eye sockets of this dead skeleton in front of you now. Let me go ahead and place so you can now actually see the creature because it is. Can you see now? Do you have light? Did that work?
I do.
Here you go. Boom. So this creature appears. So it is. Let me describe what this looks like. It is a skull floating in the air by itself, no body, and it's wreathed in blue flame. Icy eyes of blue piercing out and looking at you. So it's your turn. This creature has come into view behind the skeleton in front of you. You notice there are 3 or 4 others. There are 3 or 4 skeletons in your room. What's up?
I know, but would Scarlet know that bludgeoning is more effective against skeletons than slashing?
Feel free to make an intelligence check. If you like, I'll allow nature, or if you can motivate it, some other roll. Tell me why that roll might be relevant. Like you might think religion or arcana or history. But
if any of those were things that she has. Insight. How about insight?
It looks, yeah.
She is insightful into the nature of the human body.
Medicine, I'd allow that.
No, it's all the same. It's all +1, so I'll just do an intelligence roll.
Hey, these bones look brittle.
Okay. So if I have time, I will trade out my greatsword for my maul.
Okay, so you drop the greatsword, draw the maul.
And try and smash the skelly in front of me.
All right. That is a solid hit. And it is very, very nearly dead. It is as near to being second dead as it can be. You smash into it and shatter one arm, its clavicle, most of its ribs, its pelvis. It's just standing there. Just the lightest breeze could knock it over.
That's cool, because I get a second attack.
Guess what? You knocked it over.
Yeah!
It explodes in a cloud of bone dust. Bone meal kind of flies against the wall, and what scraps of leather and cloth were hanging on its skeletal form just collapse against the back wall. Now you have a much clearer view of the strange floating skull in the other room, which is unsettling. I'll assume you're not going to move, but it's up to you.
No, I'll stay where I am and just kind of shout out, "Who's your captain and what are you doing here?"
All right. Well, while you're shouting, the other crawling claw finally enters the room and tries to grab Sildar, and again, entirely ineffective. There is a specter near you and a crawling claw, Sildar. What would you like to do?
So Sildar aims for the spectral first.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
Probably does not hit.
It does not. It just barely misses. Just barely. This creature is difficult to pin down.
Uses a second attack. What? How did I miss this thing? It's standing right in front of me.
Oh, that is a solid hit. All right, so it is... You cut into it, and again, its form becomes disembodied for a moment, and this is being a magical weapon. As you swing the sword, you can see it's trying to become coherent again, to reconnect, but its top half and its bottom half just fade into the mist and dissipate into nothing. And that...
I do have a bonus action.
What would you like to do with it?
Bonus attack. I can use an attack.
Oh yeah, you can attack a second time, so you can kill the crawling claw if you like. That's the only enemy you see, though you hear the sound of combat from the room to the north.
I say go help out the others in the room. I'll take care of this thing. Just look down at the hand.
Okay.
All right. So yes, again, the hand is simply demolished. Right. It was going to try to grab you, to distract you, to help its specter friends, but the hands didn't have a good day today, I don't think. And you have now cleared the room of undead. This should make you feel better, Dustrin. All the undead here are dead, but you get the sudden sinking feeling that something is approaching. And at that point, our friend the flame, the icy blue snow skull, if we will call it that, from the other room, casts a spell. It zooms into this room, or comes over at this angle, let's say, and all of the sudden, Scarlet, you are pelted with snowballs. So from above, snowballs, this icy, it's almost like you're being attacked by a sudden hailstorm, but just in your area. So please make a dexterity saving throw as a snowball swarm
dexterity, my favorite thing.
erupts around you. All right, so you take 14 cold damage.
Ooh.
Yes, as the blue flame skull pelts you with ice, rather than conjuring the very cold of this dense, bitter cold mist, as though it's a concentrated form right at you. Oh, and by the way, you're also surrounded by skeletons, two of which are going to attack you. So here comes the first one with a short sword, and here's the second one. I think the 18 probably hits, but the 13 misses. Is that right?
Yes, that would be my AC.
So that is 7 piercings as one of the skeletons manages to slip through your armor, maybe right at the let's say at the shoulder, and then oh yes, fair. And then the other one swings and clangs off of your armor.
Ha ha!
Anthamina, you see all of this unfold. What would you like to do? Anthamina?
Oh no.
Did you freeze?
I think frozen.
I can't hear you. All right, so...
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yeah.
You were muted and your video's frozen, so there you go. You're good.
Can you hear me?
I can see and hear you
Cool.
now. Sorry.
All right.
Momentary internet blip.
Anthamina, no worries.
Yeah.
Anthamina will target 2 of these skeletons with another, and we will do similar roll.
Okay, excellent. So they're going to try and make dexterity saving throws as you throw acid at them. Let's see. Okay, one of them takes the damage. Which 2 would you like? The 2 closer to Scarlet, or one of the ones closer to you?
I'm gonna do these two.
Okay. So this guy takes 9. Actually, let's do it this one. This one takes 9. All right. So the acid erupts onto these creatures. One of them, it doesn't seem to have any effect on it. It just burns these rotting clothes it's got on it. The other one, however, that you can see the acid just literally eating away at this thing's bones as it becomes more wobbly and rickety on its feet, as you throw your filter that you quickly whip out of a vial at your belt pouch. Would you like to do anything else?
The only other thing Anthamina will do is to announce to the other room. She'll say, "We've got some skeletons in here. If you can spare some help."
All right.
And that's it.
Skeletons in here, Anthamina calls out. And they are indeed in here, harrying Scarlet. One of them now turns to face you, Anthamina, since it's now its turn. And it will swing its short sword at you, or actually its pirate sword at you there, but is ineffective. The acid has distracted it. Esther, you hear the sound of combat from the other room as you approach the door. What would you like to do?
Okay, so I run across the room, and as soon as I come in view of the door that's open, I will use my last shot and shoot straight at the skeleton right in front of me. And I will keep on moving after that shot because now my pistol is empty. And okay, so that's the pistol.
All right, that is unfortunately a miss. It's not a misfire because you rolled a 2, not a 1.
Yeah. So I get to this side. I keep on moving. I get to this side and cover myself. I open the gun, drop the empty bullets, and I take out one with four bullets, put it into it, charge it, and I'm ready for the next round.
All right. So you use your second attack to reload your pistol. Excellent. Yep. All right, Dustrin. What would you like to do? Combat is ensuing. There's You hear the sound of howling wind, and it seems to be getting louder. And suddenly the windows here frost up with ice. And you hear the portraits on the wall say, "She is coming."
Okay. All right. So there's no other enemies in here at the moment. Is it safe to assume that where I'm standing is where the binding circle is, or is it like?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and draw it on the ground. And I'm assuming it's just next to you.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I have to stay within like 30 feet of this circle.
I think that's correct. Yes.
I think that's correct. Cool. So I am going to go around it. I don't want to cross through it. So 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, it is chalk, and you could disrupt it.
Right there. So that I'm assuming this door right here is open.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to stand right here. Whatever is coming hasn't come yet. So I'm not actually in the exorcism yet. And I'm going to fire off 2 shots with my pepper box.
Yeah, and
Don't hit Esther.
I'm expecting something else here. Are you going to spend the grit to do that piercing shot or no?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna spend a grit to do that piercing shot.
Yeah, they're lined up for you, right?
2 for 1, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, am I gonna do it? Yep, let's do it. Perfect time for it. Okay, here we go. All right, so first the 2 shots.
Oh, a good hit.
That first one hits. Second one hits, and then 1 piercing shot. Okay. Oh, firearms miss score. Okay, that's fine. And I make an attack roll with disadvantage against every creature in a line directly behind the target. Then my first. Okay, so 1 more. All right.
So I assume both shots, both regular shots, are against the one in front.
Yes, okay. And then there'll be 1 more piercing shot. There'll be 1 more shot with disadvantage against the one behind it. Come on. Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Boom.
All right. Describe what this looks like. Okay. So because you just shot the heck out of the skeleton in front, and one of these shots went through that skeleton and demolished the skeleton behind.
Okay. So what's happening here is, like at least Esther sees me dashing around the circle, or anybody that's in the room right now. I pull out the pepper box, and it's just like I line it up real quickly. It's like, oh, this is perfect. And then pop, 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 pop. And the first 2, like I fire off all 3, I'm hoping the third one hits the first one, or actually, no, sorry. I fire off the first 2, and then the holes that the first 2 have made in the creature, I aim 1 more time. Like I just kind of shift my angle just a little bit so that it's actually the next one I fire will go through the first one and into the one behind it. And it just.
Right. So the first shot strikes the creature's, let's say it's sternum, cracking it. The second shot blows a hole, and you can see right through its ribcage at this third one. And you shoot you lean down and shoot at an angle such that you shoot up and hit that one right in the neck. Just blow its head clean off, and then it just collapses in a pile of bones and leather with a satisfying crunk. All right, so Sildaris, there's gunfire. This is probably not something you spend a lot of time with. There's skeletons in the other room. There seems to be some strange effect occurring in this room as well, with ice forming on all the windows. And now the portraits are talking. What would you like to do? This is outside of your Norwegian newsy experience.
I'm going to try to read everybody in the room to try to get an idea. Is this where I should be, or should I be elsewhere? What's that look on Dustrin's face saying?
Dustrin's muted.
The look is, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. That is the look I have.
Wow. Okay. So, all right, I'm doing a great job. that's encouragement. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up. The whole time I'm running, I take a little bit of a run around that summoning circle, run up, pulling out a knife from my boot. I get up to that skeleton right there. I try to plant that knife right in its head. So let's see how that happens.
So while you're doing that, I'm showing an image of what Sildaris looks like. This is a product creation of Connor as well. So there's a little look at Sildaris. All right. Oh my. Okay. So you run up to this skelly right here, and with your dagger, smash it right into this creature's back, shattering its shoulder blade. And would you like to describe what it looks like when you destroy this creature?
Yeah, I put the dagger into it. As the creature falls, I don't even bother removing my dagger. I just let the dagger fall and as the skeleton falls.
The clatter.
Because I have not finished my bounding charge at these creatures.
Say, but lad, that dagger's useful.
The clatter of metal and bone fills the room.
And then I will run up to this one and take my axe, my woodsman's axe, and attempt to put it through that one as a bonus action.
All right, the offhand attack.
Yes, indeed.
All right, that is definitely a hit. All right, wow. Okay, so you strike it hard.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, so you run up and you slash into it. You sever one of its arms, which falls to the ground and twitches. It slowly turns to look at you, but it seems not yet ready to die again. So, Sildar, everyone seems to be leaving this room for some reason. I mean, the paintings are talking, which is unusual.
Best friend, should I leave? Should I go help them? What do I do? I don't know.
Is there anybody coming from your way? Are you okay?
Don't see nobody over there. So I double move into the other room.
All right, go ahead.
30, 40, and then can I see that skeleton up ahead? Is that something that's visible to all of us in this room?
Let's see. I think that yes, because the flame skull is illuminating this room pretty well. So yeah,
okay,
you
so
can see it.
I ignore the skeleton and I will let it take an opportunity attack against me.
Okay.
And I will go right after it.
All right, you get a short sword swung at you. And it does hit for 3 points. So you get a slash across your shoulder, let's say your upper arm, as you run past the skeleton. And now you are face to face with this skull floating in the air, wreathed in blue flame.
So I did a double move to get there, but I do have a bonus action, so I can attack using a bonus action. Right?
Normally you can only do the offhand attack when you take the attack action, I think. I don't know if anybody's...
the bonus action comes from Rage, I believe, I thought.
Oh, you're a berserker. Yes. Okay, I think that might be different. Go ahead. That sounds fine. I forgot. Yes, you're not just any barbarian. You're a berserk barbarian. All right. So let me bring up that sheet. I think that is a hit. Nice. Okay. It is magic weapon, and it is okay. So that is a solid hit. You smack this thing, and it cracks the bone, and it kind of like loses its balance and floating in the air for a moment, but is still seems quite solid. All right. Anthamina.
I believe Scarlet might need to go before I do.
Am I doing this again? Oh my goodness. This is what I get for too many sheets. All right.
It's okay.
Scarlet, let's go ahead and see what I'd hate to leave you alone with the skeletons in this room and you not get a chance to crush it.
I know. I really want to hurt that flame skull, but Soldar's doing a pretty good job. So, and I can't leave these two squishies alone with a skelly. So I'm gonna have to give it a mighty whack before moving onward. So I'm going to give it a hit with my maul.
All right. Well, you just made a mess of that skeleton.
Huzzah! Then that gives me time to run in and meet the flame skull and hit it.
It does. That it does.
So as I run in, I would like to first say, who is your captain and what are you doing here?
Yes. The skeletons were uninterested in answering, but the flame skull turns to you and says, with chattering teeth,
"Hey, you'll find out soon enough. She's here. Again, just as she is every year."
The flame skull hasn't hurt anyone except me, has it?
it has not yet, no. It did the snowball. It is going to be going here. Oh, well, you think it's getting ready to do something else.
Oh. You know, I'd like to talk this out. Crewmate to crewmate. But I don't like what you did with the snowball thing. That bloody hurt. So I'm gonna have to give you back some love. And I'm gonna try and hit it with my maul.
You succeeded.
Good.
Thoroughly. All right. So you smack this creature, and again, you see cracks now forming on its bony face. The flames flicker for a moment before flaring back up, and you get this overwhelming wave of cold kind of radiates off this creature, and it chatters its teeth at you and says, "We'll have our revenge. We'll have our revenge eventually on all of you." All right. Anthamina, what would you like to do? You see that you two of your allies are engaging this floating skull in the other room, but you're starting to hear, all of you, now, the sound of banging against the front door. Loud banging. The wood snapping. Splintering.
Anthamina will move over to Scarlet and cast a second level cure light wounds or cure wounds. And let's see, it should do 7 hit points. And then
How long does that take?
an action.
So that's 2 actions.
Yes, I forgot. Let's not forget. We've only had
Gothic
cantrips so
Earth.
far, for the most part. But
right
in Gothic Earth, magic is more difficult. So far the other
But
magic.
I would love to have the healing.
So here in the Gothic Earth setting, it takes a while to mix those filters, right? You're an apothecary, and you've got to get the proportions just right. So you can spend 2 actions doing that if you like.
Sure.
But if you wanted to do something else, I'm okay.
No, I'm pretty committed to this action, so we'll wait until my next round to complete it.
All right.
Okay.
So Anthamina dutifully mixes the potions, filters, pulling out various reagents from the pouch at her hip, practicing her apothecary arts. And at this point, the front door explodes. And something enters. Something, which I have to add to the initiative order, but I will also... you guys can't really see it. Dustrin, you can see. So for Dustrin, everyone, you won't know what this is until you come back into the room. But Dustrin, you see this. Slowly slide into the room. It is wearing a captain's hat and sailor's clothes. And you get the impression that once, perhaps, it was a woman. But no longer. Now it is a creature of hate and death. And with it come More undead. More skeletal pirates. Clearly her crew shamble in behind her. So let me go ahead and roll initiative for these individuals. And then we get to see what the Flame Skull is going to do in response. Oh, goody. All right, everybody. Hold on to your souls. As I do initiative real quick. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So to answer the question, I believe reactions, correct me if I'm wrong, Jessica, reactions are still reactions, but bonus actions are action attacks, spells.
Yes.
So I don't think we've had a bonus action spell yet. Oh, maybe we did. We had guidance. Okay, so apologies, that should have been an action. But, all right, so let me reorder the turn order now that we're at the top here. All right.
Oh,
So
I think guidance was out of combat anyway, which is why I didn't really.
Yeah, you're right. It was before. Yeah. So, all right. So this skeleton comes shambling into the room. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It takes up a spot over here, and it pulls out a decrepit short bow, which it releases a greasy arrow at you, Dustrin, but the arrow just sticks into the back wall, dung, missing entirely. Meanwhile, the Flame Skull looks at you, Sildar, and you, Scarlet, and just smiles. And the paintings now say, "She is here." The Flame Skull says, again, smiling. All right, the whole area suddenly is plunged into ice and freezing rain. So the whole area where that would go basically from Sildaris to Sildar, 10, 15, 20, is like a column, or more than that. Oh, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. It's, let's just say, the dining room and study are now, or the drawing room and study are now both a sleet storm. The area is heavily obscured, so even those of you with dark vision and torches cannot see. The ground is difficult terrain because it's covered with ice. You're going to have to be careful not to fall. Another skeleton enters the room, taking up another position and shooting an arrow, this one at Esther. Oh, I think that might be a hit. Esther, what's your armor class?
15.
15. All right, so you take 4 piercing damage as a rotting, greasy arrow embeds itself in your leg.
Whoa, okay.
And then she enters. This must be the captain. She looks at hatred and disgust at all of you, but then her eyes settle on the locket in the circle. And she begins to turn away as though to resist, and she is slowly drawn, almost against her will, into the center of it. Dustrin, could you please make your roll to measure the strength of the binding circle? So you are, that would be wisdom plus your proficiency bonus, added to a wisdom bonus, plus proficiency bonus added to a d20. So for you, that's going to be 3 plus whatever your wisdom is.
So it's going to be 1d20 plus 6.
1d20 plus 6. All right.
Please. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's a good roll. Okay.
That is not bad.
All right. So that is the strength of this circle. Now, that means that that you did before. I could have called for that before, but let's just do it here when it's first getting tested. When it's your turn, you will be making the rolls to maintain the circle against the strength of this creature. And I'll tell you the DC when it's going to be 16 when the time comes. It, however, is going to try to resist the circle. So that's what all it gets to do on its turn this time. And it has to make a charisma save to try to resist that. And it has to beat the number you just rolled.
Oh, thank God we're not getting attacked by a Bodak.
Unless it breaks free.
Right. Well, this time, it doesn't. All right. So you see this creature come towards you, look down at the locket, and it's kind of distracted. It looks up at you, and it surges forward, but it's as though it hits an invisible field. It's like, and it's clawing at it. All right. A third skeleton comes into the room. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It seems to be just, it's going to dash to here. And the fourth skeleton comes into the room. They all kind of rolled the same, and he's going to go there. Dustrin, it is your turn. You do have skeletons near you, but if you want to maintain the possibility of success at this exorcism, you need to make your exorcism roll. So same bonus. You need to beat a 16, and you have a +6.
Plus guidance still, correct?
You do still have guidance. Yeah, it's been less than a minute, so you can add a 1d4 to that, and you can decide to add it after you see the roll.
First thing I'm gonna do is shout, I've got the creature trapped, but I can't fight anymore. Whew. And the next thing I'm going to do is roll my exorcism check. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just let you know you didn't need to use the guidance. So if you wanted to, I'll allow you to say, to keep that for the next time if you want.
Wait, is guidance a one-time use? Do I get to do it?
It's one-time use, but you can decide when you use it, don't you? You don't have to use it on literally the next skill check.
I thought it was every turn. That's why I was confused.
No, it lasts 1 minute. So you can decide when you want to use it, and you can decide after you see the roll whether you want to use it.
Okay, no, I didn't need that, so I'm just gonna use the 16. And as that happens, I'm going to I'll hold up my holy book and say, "Woeful spirit, confess to me your pains, so I may release you from this darkness."
So for a moment, the Bodak, this is the name of the creature, the kind of creature, or if you prefer, Viola Ravenswood, hesitates and looks at you, and kind of its face seems to change just slightly, and you get the impression that once this was a human woman, but then the fury comes back. It's not, that won't be enough. Esther, there are 2 skeletons right in your face. Dustrin seems to be performing some sort of complex ritual to contain this horrific monster that's entered the room. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I would like to get closer to her, so I'm going to stab the one right in front of me, and I will stab him twice with my rapier.
All right.
No.
Yeah, that is definitely that won't make it. Try again.
No.
You
come on.
have this Bodak. I mean, this thing is really terrifying. All right. So I will say this. I had forgotten this a minute ago, but go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. Esther.
This is against being frightened because I have advantage against those? No?
It's not a frightened effect.
Okay. It's a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, the creature... So you can see the Bodak's eyes. You are within 30 feet. It is forcing you to make a Constitution saving throw because it's not incapacitated yet. Okay. You feel fine. But when this creature does this, you see this dense, frigid fog kind of emanate out of it, and wisps of tendrils kind of reach at you. And you, Dustrin and Esther, being in this room, you get the impression that if you look at this creature while it's in your presence, you're going to be making yourself vulnerable to it. Right? So if you want...
Come on, where's everybody?
Yeah, so just in the future, you want to indicate that you're not looking at it if you don't want these tendrils to try and grab at you. Because whenever anyone looks at it, it turns and its tendrils reach out towards it. Right?
We're busy fighting a bloody firefly.
So, Sildaris, there's this floating skull to your north, but now to your south, not only are there 2 skeletons attacking your friends, but some sort of this new god business is happening. What would you like to do?
All right. Sildaris firms up because attacking it harder seems to work. And now Dustrin, I'm guessing Dustrin's not like, keep going.
No. I'm assuming I believe Dustrin shouted that he'd need help, right?
Yes. I need more people to come in here so that I can maintain concentration.
Okay, so my knuckles turn red as I clench my axe harder. I come running in and I scream, "Now I don't follow the new god, so no confessions are needed. I run right here to this location, and as I run, my shape begins to change, and I turn into a giant bull.
A bull, okay.
A bull. And I just look at this skeleton, and I snort, and I hoof at the ground, and that's the end of my turn.
So let me give you. So is a bull a large creature?
It is.
I thought so. All right. So let me get you a bull. All right. So I'm gonna move your token.
Like, are you big enough for the sitting room?
There it is.
I really really wanted to go through the drawing room like this, but it looked like you had that.
Right. Yeah. The bull in the china shop. Exactly. All right. So this is that's you. You can now control the bull.
Okay.
Do you know off the top of your head how many hit points this bull has?
I have it pulled up on one of my favorite things, D&D Beyond.
One of my favorite too. What's the number? I'll just enter it into your token for you.
What is the number of the
hit points for the bull?
Absolutely. Let me get that pulled right back up for you. Windows.
And then you should have control of said bull. I'll even make it a little bit prettier for you. There we go.
That is awesome. Monsters, quarter, CR. Ow.
So let's see who is next. So whenever you get the number, let me know. Scarlet, there is a floating skull here that's laughing at you and just made this area. So you, by the way, just to be clear, Sildaris, when you kind of stumbled south, you left the sleety area. Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. You were right at the doorway, so that wasn't an issue for you. But Scarlet, you are now obscured. You can't see. You're being pelted with ice. It's very slippery. You know that skull's there because it's still laughing, but you would have disadvantage to hit it. What would you like to do?
Fuck that skull.
I like it. All right. So please go ahead. Well, you didn't enter that. I guess.
I started my turn.
Yep. So make that dexterity saving throw, please. As the room is suddenly plunged into ice and sleet. All right. Let me see. I think actually that might actually be good enough. Let me see what its number is. Yes, that's it. That's the magic number.
Exactly.
Yep. So all right. So you're like, whoa, but you still keep your feet, and you have an idea where that jerk of a skull is.
Yeah, I do. All right. I do not like this skull. So, and this skull has now targeted people other than me. So I am, that's immediately after. JK, it was too late for me to rebuke the violent.
Do you want to retcon it? I'm okay with that.
It's immediately after they use violence against someone within 30 feet of, they have to deal damage. It hasn't dealt damage. So
it only dealt damage to you. Actually.
It's only dealt damage to me.
Right.
So I'm just going to punch it with a maul. And maybe do some magic to it with that afterwards, like with a smite.
Yes.
Can I smite it? Yes, I can. I'm gonna smite it.
Smiting has a weird sort of action economy. You can just do it when you hit.
Yeah. So let's see if I hit.
I don't think the Gothic or Earth magic limitations apply.
No, because I'm just spending a spell slot. So yeah.
Oh my. So, all right. Add that smite for this is an undead.
Yeah. So that extra damage is 2d8.
Is it? Do you get an extra d8 when it's an undead? I thought so. So I think.
Yeah, it is.
So it's 3d8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do I do that in there? Just roll.
So you can do /R space 3d8 if you want.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, that the magic number you needed to hit was 20. It had 20 hit points. 12 plus 9 is 21. Would you like to? You just told this skull to F off. Would you like to describe what it looks like to hit the thing to death again?
I want to basically baseball it out the window.
Okay.
And
you swing.
As I say, I tried to have a conversation with you. And my divine radiance flies outwards through my maul as it goes flying. And then I kind of look at Soldar and Anthamina and go, I mean, he made it snow.
Yeah, and as you hit it, right, the sleet suddenly stops, right, and you can see again this ice on the ground begins to melt. But you just baseball, you just wind up, called shot. You just right through the window. The glass shatters and this thing just erupts into ice and kind of an icy cloud and dissipates out there, and it is destroyed. All right.
Cool. And then I'm gonna run south.
All right. So 10. Yeah. So moving past Anthamina is difficult terrain.
Will I get my extra attack in?
Yeah. I mean, you
Can
get
I make it in time?
Yeah, you get to attack. So you move 30 feet. You can swing again.
Cool. Wasn't sure if I would get that. Awesome. Then I will maul a skelly.
All right. Well, you might not.
That did not work.
So it's still a little icy, right? You're like, whoa. So you're not able to get a good smack. Sildar, Scarlet just smacked the heck out of this skull floating here. You hear there's this ritual and some fighting going on to the south. What would you like to do?
I don't think there's a way for me to get into the room.
5, let's see, 15, 20, 25. You could dash, actually. You could dash, and you would get an opportunity. 2 people would get an opportunity attacks on you. But you could move into Scarlet's space and past Sildaris the Bull into empty rooms to the east. But 2 skeletons would get to swing at you. And that would be your whole turn, if you wanted. Or you could come behind Scarlet and do a ranged attack or wait.
Yeah, because full double move is a full round action, right?
Yep.
But I do have a bonus action still. I'd have that, right?
Yeah, since you're still raging and you're a berserker, and that's how we're rolling that. Yeah.
Can I get to the skeleton on the bottom?
Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 25, because it's 10 to move through a friendly square. 35, 45, 50. What's your movement?
40. Okay,
you can get... 40? Oh, yeah, you can get anywhere in the room then. I forgot. Barbarian. Yeah. Dashing is 80 feet, so you can get anywhere.
I'm going to end up here. It's whatever attacks need to happen.
So 2 skeletons are going to swing at you with their scimitars. 15 is the magic number twice. That misses. You have a 17 AC, I believe. So their rusty scimitars just kind of scrape across your your armor as you run through, pushing your way past Scarlet. And there's a bull here. What? You push your back through the bull's hindquarters, I guess we'll call it. Right? Kind of push your way back through there. And you see one. Yeah, so I've got Sildaris's icon here, but I can put that off of there. Sorry.
And then I take my bonus action, so I can at least do a 1 hit before I end my turn.
Yep, and you continue your rage. Oh my, that's a good hit. What weapon are you hitting with the longsword?
Yep, still hitting with the longsword.
All right, so you 1 hit the skeleton, it just explodes as the magic of this ghost touch sword just emanates out of the blade and destroys this creature.
Nobody messes with my best friend.
Yeah.
So that one certainly won't. It is now Anthamina's turn. The action seems to have been back in the room before you. You could follow Sildar by dashing to get into the room, but and honestly, the skeletons wouldn't be able to swing at you because they have just followed through on their swing at Sildar.
Actually, I have half of a spell cast, so I'm going to finish casting that spell.
Yes. Okay, excellent.
And heal. I believe I rolled a 7 last time.
So Anthamina comes behind you. What does it look like when you apply your apothecary arts to heal?
I'm going to say that it's just kind of like a healing gel, and Anthamina will be following behind Scarlet and still mixing everything as she's going. And unfortunately, due to the nature of everything, she's just going to take the vial and pour it down the back of Scarlet's armor.
So yeah, this.
Very sorry. This is the only way I can do this right now.
Surprising sensation, but actually quite pleasant. It kind of warms you and gives you kind of bolsters you feel a little bit better actually. Yeah.
Appreciated. Thank you.
Anytime. And that's the extent of Anthemina's ability to act.
All right. So Anthamina, having healed Scarlet, joins her just outside the room where the ritual is occurring. The skeleton here is going to come up and swing at Soldar. And it takes a swing. And that is going to be a hit. It does manage to scrape its blade against your skin, but for your raging, it does 1 point of damage. It's but a flesh wound, as they say.
Now I would like to rebuke the violent.
Do it.
I just realized, haha, this is a time. Okay, so I closed my character sheet. Sorry, I got excited.
That's all right.
Here it is. So the target has to, I force them to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yep.
Otherwise, they take radiant damage equal to the damage they just dealt.
All right, so this creature, the skeleton, botches the wisdom save as hard as they can botch it. And I'm going to say, since I don't know if it's the amount of damage they did with their attack or the amount that Soldar actually suffered, I'll say they take all 3. And so as the skeleton strikes Soldar seems to be not bothered hardly at all, but there's this flash. What do you think it looks like? Like a flash of light rebounds or something? Or
I just go, no! And then light shoots out of my finger.
The skeleton looks absolutely...
Use your words.
Use your words. I am a parent. I know that one. All right, so the skeleton just looks ashamed of itself. It looks at you and you can, I think, maybe it's something to do with your demeanor as a former pirate, right? Because, right, this is like fighting like members of like an enemy crew of pirates, except they're all dead, right? So for many of you, except Anthamina, you have some connection, and I guess in Sildaris, to piracy and the sea. So these creatures, and you speak with a booming voice of authority, and just like a captain or ship's mate might rebuke one of the sailors, the skeleton kind of slinks down. Violet Ravenswood. It takes
double damage, right? Because it's radiant.
Oh, it's radiant, right? Yes, it does. Thank you. I'd forgotten that. All right. So Viola Ravenswood does one more thing on her, which she was supposed to do a minute ago, but I forgot. Which is she reaches her hand kind of out towards because this room's got a bunch of furniture in it. So she reaches her hand out towards the wall and kind of makes a gesture like this, and there's a table against the wall that I don't really have. Here's a good table that suddenly becomes animate, and so she endows this table with it's like a poltergeist, and it slams itself into you, Dustrin, since she knows you're the one that's preventing, right? So let me bring up the stats we have for animated tables, thanks to Restless from our own Vicaris. Right. Yes?
I will say that anybody that wants to try and, well, actually, I don't know how you feel about showcasing this mechanic as well. There's a one called Meat Shield where people could try and take damage from me instead.
Don't they have... so I guess technically Soldaris is within 5 feet of you. So it would only be Soldaris who's capable of doing that.
And you have to have your reaction, too, if you would like to try and jump in front of whatever's trying to hit me.
So tell me what that looks like, Soldaris, when Soldaris in bull form interposes himself in between an animated table and Dustrin.
So I'm going to look up at you, snort, and then just headbutt Dustrin out of the way and take the hit right across my bony head.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see if it hits.
Yeah, Soldaris needs to make a dex save.
In order to succeed at that.
Yeah, and it's equal to the attack roll.
So, you just have to you have to beat a 10. Honestly, the table would probably not even hit Dustrin. So, is that something that's only invoked when you take damage?
Or,
I don't remember. I forget. So
It says when I am attacked.
okay, so
But
you can interpose yourself. Let's see for the purpose of story. Go ahead and make a dex save, Sildaris. Even though it won't end up doing any damage to anybody. I want to know whether Sildaris the bull bravely interposes his snout between the poltergeist animated table here. Yes. And so this table flies off of the wall as Viola Ravenswood tries to disrupt the ritual, but Sildaris bravely takes the blow upon his snout. Speaking of Viola, she's going to try to resist again being in this circle. And again, she fails. Okay, so it's going well for the exorcists. Speaking of, we have 2 skeletons here that are going to attack. There's so many people to attack. I think this skeleton's going to attack Esther because Esther is just standing there killing people. Or killing skeletons at least. And that's going to 15 is a miss, I believe.
No, 15 is a hit.
Oh, that's your AC? Okay. So that is a hit for 4 piercing. The other skeleton will swing at Scarlet or the Bull. Scarlet just rebuked his or her crewmate, and I think that's going to be a miss.
That is a miss.
All right, so
try better next time.
It kind of grumbles at you. It doesn't really speak. Dustrin, you need to see if you can retain continue to focus on this ritual exorcism.
All right, so as that happens, I'll try and speak to this creature again.
Mm-hmm.
Lay your sins upon me. I will bear them so that you may find the light. I am going to do... Come on. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this creature, its undead form starts to shrink and melt a little bit, and it looks for a moment almost like the image you saw inside the very locket at the creature's feet. But then again, it warps and withers and looks undead. But it does look down and reaches down and picks up the locket. And that is, you need to have one more success before the exorcism is over. Esther, there are skeletons here and an animated table now attacking Dustrin. What would you like to do?
I just tried to stop my way through the skeleton right in front of me, the one that's here.
Mm-hmm.
In the diagonal.
Oh, the diagonal. Okay, great.
So, yeah. Let's go.
Yes, that's a hit. Oh, for 10. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right, and you get another attack. All right.
13 hit?
It does. No, let me double check. That might not. It does. That's the magic number. All right. It is near death. You're using a regular sword, so and it's a piercing weapon, so it's not vulnerable. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's not. Yeah, no, that's just dead. My bad. I was thinking of the other thing. All right, so would you like to describe destroying this creature with your rapier into deft
I
blows?
just tried to stop it the first time and goes to the sternum and it hits right where the heart should be. And I see that it shrinks a little bit or the bones vibrate. And I try it again and I twist the rapier and I see that it falls to the ground and it's just comes undone.
Nice. So it crumbles to the ground, split through the heart. Let's see here. I want to make sure I do feature this. So just very quickly, I wanted to make sure this gets featured. Here's, do I have that? Oh, I'll have to upload that real quick. All right. My bad. I'm talking to myself. Here it is. There's Esther, by the way, for those watching at home. And in case you're keeping track of this, the artist is named Demantz and is on DeviantArt. That's DMANTZ. And they gave us permission to use this art today. And Felipe liked it, wanted to share it. So there you go. Thank you, Demantz, for letting us use that today on the stream. All right, because that's what we do here at Sigil Spotlight. We spotlight creators, artists, writers, designers, and more. All right, so after that weird plug, Sildaris, you, the bull, have just taken a blow from an animated table on your head. There's a skeleton that was next to you that just collapsed. There's this weird, awful creature in the circle, and Dustrin's talking some sort of mumbo-jumbo about it, but, or maybe you think it's actually quite nice. I don't know. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm going to look at Dustrin with the single-minded vision of a bull, seeing that table trying to disrupt whatever new god ritual mumbo-jumbo is going on over there. So Sildaris knows the goal is to hit it harder. So I'm going to rear up against that wall, scrape my hoof a couple times, and I'm going to charge across the room, probably knocking Dustrin around, and I'm going to attempt to run right over that table.
Excellent. Go ahead and do an attack. If you've got the stat block in front of you, the bull has a charge attack, I believe.
It does.
So go ahead and let's see how that goes. Oh my, that's definitely a solid hit.
Awesome. So as I'm running, you can see the little fairies begin swirling around the table, guiding the bull.
Yes, the hunter's mark.
The hunter's mark. And let's see what happens.
Right.
Here.
You're not casting it again. You're just moving it.
No, I'm not casting. I can just move it because my last target was destroyed.
That's right.
So I want to make sure I do this right. I'm programming it in because it's not a normal thing.
Sure, yeah. So
and that's how much damage I do.
Okay, describe demolishing this animated table that's floating nearby. It had 15 hit points.
Splinters fly across the room, raining into people's hair as it is just fragmented into nothingness. I continue running, bounce off the first wall, bounce off the second wall, skittering with hooked feet over hardwood floors, but turn around to face the skeleton that's still left, snorting.
Pawing the ground. All right, so there's this shower of splinters as this table just explodes. You know, it was really a front room table. Nobody ever actually used this fragile little thing, and you just demolished it. All right, Scarlet. There's splinters raining from the sky. There was ice, now it's splinters. There's one skeleton within your reach, and another across the room, and this awful thing in this circle in the center.
I will smash that skelly.
I believe you will. Let's see. Indeed. You demolish it in an explosion of splinters, or of bone this time. Bone joining the splinters flying through the air.
Has Scarlet noticed that everyone else is avoiding the gaze of Viola Ravenswood?
That's a very good question that I forgot to ask. I think I might... everyone else was in the room when I did that, except Anthamina. Mm-hmm. So...
she wasn't.
Right, but she wasn't. All right, so I'm going to say no. Well, how about no? Go ahead and make that Constitution save. Let's see.
Yeah. Not.
It's you know.
Okay.
Okay, so as you smash the skeleton and explodes and split the fog of bone meal slowly drops.
Oh my god, I die. Wait, right?
You drop to 0 hit points. You don't die.
Yeah.
So it looks at you and it hisses and it points at you and says, "I'll not go that easy." And black tendrils twist and twirl through the air and caress your face as you look over towards it as it speaks. And you just feel the life suck right out of you. And you see her collapse to the ground. Yes, you failed it by 5 or more. And so you are... you're not immune to the frightened condition, so you are reduced to 0 hit points.
I'm immune to poison or to disease, but that is not frightened.
I would just like to note, speaking out of character, that it would be really weird for the designer of a game to die in their own game. So
I'm not dead yet. I have saving throws.
That's absolutely true. And there's people with healing.
I have other people in here, and I've got lots of people who can save me.
You've got your people. That's right. All right. So Sildar, Scarlet made the mistake of looking at the awful creature. You saw that thing doesn't like to be looked at. So as long as you're not looking at it, you're fine. But there's a skeleton here that's trying to kill you.
I aim to kill the skeleton.
All right.
While trying not to look over there.
Fair. Oh my. Well, would you be surprised to know that it is destroyed utterly? that, I mean, you turned it into bony mist. Just poof. It's like dropping a bag of flour.
I then close my eyes and then take a 5-foot step forward.
All right.
And just hold there steady.
All right. So, Anthamina, you can see now that there are no foes left in the room except the one in the binding circle, and it seems like the ritual is about to close. And then suddenly Scarlet collapses to the ground, having mistakenly looked at this awful creature. What would you like to do?
Anthamina sighs and kind of rolls her eyes. She is, of course, dripping in a cold sweat. She's not completely immune to the nervousness of the situation, but she's also like fretting about it. Do cantrips also take two rounds to cast?
No, they're one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anthamina will cast through her potions. She's got a really quick one that's almost like this saltpeter solution that she uses under Scarlet's nose, and it is Spare the Dying.
Oh, okay. So so Anthamina pulls this out very quickly and just drops down and waves this open vial under your nose, Scarlet, and you're like, you are unconscious, but it's as though it kind of snaps your heart. It's such a shock to the system that your heart begins beating again, and you cough. But again, you're still, so you're stable at 0 hit points. You are not in danger of dying. Any future healing would, of course, raise you up and without trouble. Speaking of trouble,
I still have 25 hit points to give to other people with lay on hands. I just can't lay them on myself.
For the final time, let's see, maybe. Okay, so Viola Ravenswood once more tries to escape. So we still have to get a roll from Dustrin to see if he can complete the So Viola is unable to escape the circle. She presses against the things once more, but it doesn't seem. It's as though her heart's not in it. She looks down at the locket and begins to open it. Dustrin, this is your time to complete the ritual.
I will take a step forward so that I'm right next to the circle, not actually like breaking the chalk. I'm not looking in this creature's face, averting my gaze, but still saying, I do this for you so you may find peace. Okay, the D4.
Before you rolled, I was gonna say that because of these things you've been speaking to this creature each round, I think at this point you've earned advantage on the final roll.
Yes, thank God.
And you still have guidance.
Are you kidding?
Come on.
Okay.
Nope.
The good news is the way the exorcism ritual works is that it's just like death saves, right? So you have to get 3 successes before you get 3 failures. And you do it as long as the creature has not escaped the circle. This creature has not escaped the circle. So what this means is that the creature gets another attempt to. It's a roll off. Basically, who can get a success first?
You haven't used your guidance yet.
I know. I even if I do it, the DC.
Oh, it's still one. Okay.
So Viola needs to beat an 18. Dustrin needs to beat a 16. Okay. So here is the Viola's roll.
Please.
A 1. Okay. It opens the locket and sees the picture of itself and knows that this was a picture that Anesthesia Lovelace kept all those years of Viola Ravenswood. And suddenly there's hesitation. The hate, the nasty evil look starts to melt away, and you think you hear weeping. Go ahead and make your roll one more time, Dustrin.
Okay, I am going to use my D4 this time since I didn't lose it. Please.
Come on. It's a 4.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! Oh my God.
Okay. So, Dustrin, you tell me, right? This was your ritual. This was your exorcism. You successfully completed it. What does Viola / this undead. What happens?
So, what happens after it's been completed is there's kind of like there's a flash of like light, and it's like a warm kind of glowing light that like fills everyone else in the room. It doesn't do anything for you, but it's just like a sense of like peace washes over everybody out of this creature. The circle itself, after the flash is gone, and standing before us is the visage of Viola Ravenswood, who has moments to say any final words she might have.
All right, so Viola, let's bring her picture up here. So standing before you is this woman. Although in kind of spectral form, you see her as she was for the first time. Relatively, I mean, you could tell she was once a human, living woman. And there's a look of deep pain and sadness on her face. But she looks down at the locket one more time, looks up, and suddenly the pain begins to fade. Though where there were once streaks of tears through dirt and blood down her face, suddenly her face looks cleaner, clearer, and she seems to come into a moment of calmness. And she looks up, and for the first time, she makes eye contact with you. But there is no shadow. There are no tendrils. And she says, "Thank you." And then she dissipates into mist. And the house falls into silence.
Sorry.
And peace.
As she's leaving, like she says thank you and she disappears, I say one final prayer for her. May nothing else separate you from the love of our Lord. May any hardship, distress, or persecution wash away from you as you bask in the light of his love. And may you be judged not for the corruption that found you in death, but for the deeds you did in life.
She holds your gaze for a moment more and then passes on into the beyond. All right. So, nothing else occurs untoward the rest of the night. It is a surprisingly clear and peaceful evening. The sky clears and the moon shines brightly above. At dawn, there's a knock at the door, and a letter slides under the door. It's from Calpurnia Lovelace. She says, "Dear adventurers, well done indeed. I am quite shocked that you survived the night, though not at all disappointed. I do hope none of my windows were broken. That will need to come out of your payment, of course. Please be sure to leave 2 shillings per window and remuneration per vase, book, piano, or other expensive artifact you may have broken in your struggle as you find appropriate. I do know that we had agreed on £50 for each of you, but as this is only a quinquennial occurrence, I honestly cannot tell you if you truly did your job correctly or simply managed to survive the night by some miracle. Therefore, here is £20 apiece. The day after 5 winter solstices from now, if the Inamorata does not return, please contact my office, where my solicitor will be pleased to provide the completed remuneration. Thank you again for all you've done, and congratulations on your survival. Have a pleasant 5 years." And as that ends, the last thing that remains where she was once standing is the locket. And one of you can choose to take that, or you can decide who gets it. It ends up having certain special properties that allows you to summon the undead crew of the Inamorata to serve you for some time. But should you use this, your heart will become cold and hard. And that is the end of our story, gentlefolk. So I'd like to thank Jessica for providing us with that wonderful adventure. I'd like to thank Vic for providing us with the rules for undead, setting them to rest. I'd like to thank Ish for providing us the Apothecary class. I myself have designed tried to design an Alchemist class, and I really like what you've done with the Apothecary, actually. I like the subclasses in particular. They're really cool.
Thank you.
So what I'd like to do next is, we're at the end, but I want to talk for just a minute, which is I just want to have everyone who feels moved by the spirit, as they say, to share anything they'd like. So there's a kind of a safety tool called Stars and Wishes that I'm talking about, in which we kind of say what we thought we liked about the adventure or the class or the mechanic or just any part of the experience, and then a wish for what you'd like to see next. It doesn't have to be a criticism. It can just be more, please, but so if we wanted to go ahead and go around. So I'd like to hear, should we hear first or last from the designer of the adventure? What do you think, Jess?
I don't know.
Okay, well then we'll come back to you. How about We'll go to the other end. Gilbert, what did you have anything you wanted to share about this experience?
It was a great first experience with everybody. I'm looking forward to more of these in the future. Just that's what my wish is that more of us together and more games.
That's a good wish. Connor, how about you?
So there's a couple things I really want to star. Jess did an amazing job telling a story that fits very well in the genre of gothic horror. The entire story circulates around love, particularly unrequited love. The feel of it is dark, but there's just enough humanity placed in the villain that you feel empathy for the situation. So that's one thing I'm going to star. Definitely, that's just some awesome gothic horror right there with Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and the like. So kudos to you for that. I would like to star that the house was very descriptive. There was a lot going on in the house. I felt like out of all the characters in the story, the house was the most actualized NPC. And so I felt, as I was playing through it, some connection to that setting. So, so I didn't want to damage it because I didn't want to hurt anything in it. I liked it the way it was. So those are the things I would like to star. The wish, and I have not read this adventure, Jess. My only wish, if I had to wish, would be that you have the opportunity, or at least ideas or jumping off points for pursuing a grievance through a barrister with the wealthy debutante that paid for us. I think that would provide an interesting springboard for future adventures. So,
yeah, that's a
good
great
job,
idea.
Jess. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed playing with everybody. You made me laugh and cheer and hoot and holler. It was great. Good job, Eugene, telling a story. Great job.
That was a lot of fun. Felipe, how about you?
Oh yeah, I certainly agree with Connor. I love the adventure. Jess, you did a wonderful job. I love gothic horror and Ravenloft, and I felt this adventure is just right on the spot, like right on the mark. I'd probably buy it and run it for my friends because I think it's just plain awesome. The whole story, the idea of the villain, the unrequited love, as Connor mentioned, I think it's just great. Of course, great job, everybody. I had a wonderful time playing with you all. And considering that, my wish is that we have more interaction between the PCs. It was just great. And I would have loved to have more conversations. I know time is short, but I'd love to have more time to spend with you and get to know your characters better.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of either the characters or the players. So let's see. How about Vic?
Well, first, it was a pleasure playing and watching y'all, especially like when I was stuck doing the circle for gesturing. I still had a lot of fun watching y'all get into shenanigans in the house. But I want to like superstar Sildaris's old god and new god thing because that was hilarious. I loved it. And Anthemita's description of the spells but turned into alchemical things, so that was super dope. And yeah, I would love for us to do something that lets us talk to each other more again, because I enjoyed our like little interpersonal interactions moments.
Yeah, I agree. Ish, what about you?
Well, let's see, I'm not muted. Okay, good. No, I love this adventure. The setting was perfect. The house was perfect. The adventure itself was perfect. And I didn't know going into this that the Apothecary would like be just spot on for everything. It just seems like it worked so well. So I'm very glad that worked. And then not to throw a pun at all of you, but I think this group had a really awesome chemistry. And I think we did really well. And I think my wish would be, I don't know what the future will hold, what our one shots are going to look like, if people will change characters. But regardless of all of that, I think that I look forward to just bouncing off each other the way that we have been is going to be cool no matter what characters we choose to play. I think we're in for some really fun times.
Fantastic to hear. So after all that, Jess, would you like to say any stars or wishes yourself?
Yeah, I just want to thank all of you. I had so much fun as a player with this. I'm always running it. And huge thanks to Eugene for bringing this to light and getting it done in a timely fashion. Because bringing the stuff that happens, I know from running it that this time is a big thing in this one because you're tracking the hours when certain things happen, and getting it done in a timely fashion and doing it in a stream is a lot. And you did such a good job. I love the binding circle. I thought that was such a great ending. And it worked so well with this because there is like a non-combat ending that I wrote for this. And this got to kind of combine that without having to give her a whole bunch of stuff and have like a conversation with her. And it worked so well with your character. And I loved everybody's characters. And I loved the Apothecary, and I had so much fun. And about the house. So this is part of Midwinter Ghost Stories, and which I put a link for in the thing. But the whole thing is Gothic Earth ghost stories that take place like on the solstice or on Christmas. And they're all in this one house. So as a group, we writers all built the house together. So we started and made a family tree and a house, and it's all about the Lovelace family, and they're all horrible. And this is the second adventure. But yeah, you can play through the entire history of this horrible family and all of the things you do. So you might not be able to go see a barrister, but you can deal with, I think in Oliver Clegg's adventure, some of the Lovelaces eating each other for Christmas dinner. So so they get theirs. Yeah, and there's like so the house is not entirely mine. Like I just sort of, when I started, went and looked, so what rooms do we have? How can I play with them? And went from there. But yeah, it's a fun book. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Well, fantastic. I mean, yeah. So the thing that I had just a blast running it. I really am. I think you touched on this, and so did you, Jess, and so did you, Ish. That it was really neat that 3 different independent creations came together and I thought they fit perfectly. Like they were totally thematic. Like that's like it was, all of it was just like, this is exactly right for this setting, right? It was like, take like, kind of like a Holmesian kind of investigator with a dash of like a 19th century exorcism movie and a haunted house story, and like this. So that was a lot of fun. I really loved that. And I hope to introduce adventures that allow more time for character interaction too. That's always going to be a little bit of a challenge if we're introducing entirely new adventures every session in only 3 to 3.5 hours. But I'll try to, we can talk about that, how we'll do that, how we'll feature people's works. I think once we I wanted to get kind of a good, I really am happy that we had kind of a good like meat and potatoes D&D session for the first one, because it's like, it's just like, we kind of hit a real stride. I thought that worked. So I'm really happy about that too. So at this point, I'd like to say goodbye to our viewers. Just to remind you, I've been and continue to be Eugene Marshall. This is Sigil Spotlight. And we have all kinds of shows. We are running a Tuesday show at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with a different group of creators. We've got 3 different group of amazing creators. Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. So we've got each of these may even be happening weekly. We're only in our second episode. So follow us here or on YouTube. The videos will appear later. You can go catch the one you missed. It's just appeared yesterday. So thank you once again to my players, to Sigil Entertainment for hosting the stream, Roll20, everyone else who contributed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.